At your footstool we bow. We want to say thank you for your care, for your love, and your mercy, never-ending blessings upon this nation. Father, this morning as we come before you, I want to say thank you for our people of this nation. We thank you for people in the rural communities and areas. We thank you for our people in the urban regions. Father, this morning as we come before you, we ask for your forgiveness. May you wash us, cleanse us, and purify us through the precious blood of your Son, Jesus. Father, this morning as we come before you, we ask and thank you for the difficulties this nation has gone through, yet your hands has been upon this nation. The difficulties that we go through, Father God, you know them. And so, Father, this morning as we come before you, we uplift your name and we honor you. Father, this morning as we come before you, we want to thank you that from the depth of our hearts, may you cause us, Father God, to be more people-oriented, that our hearts will serve our people, that from many you have chosen us for service to our people. And Father, I pray this morning that may your grace and mercy continue to hover upon us. May your grace go with us and be with us. Father, this morning I commit the nation of Papua New Guinea and the resources that we have, the many resources that we have, out at sea, Father God, with the marine products that we have, in the forests that we have, with the logging companies operating in our country, Father God. Father, we thank you for the gold, the copper, the zinc. We thank you for the oil. Father God, you have blessed this nation abundantly. And so, Father, this morning, we give you glory, honor, and praise. Father God, we have many things to ask for, but you know the things that we would ask and the petitions that we'll bring before you. This morning, we want to say thank you and congregate ourselves together, come together in saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father.
Forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, forever and ever. Amen. Honourable members, this is to inform you all that Telecom PNG Limited has set up information and product display booth at the Haywing glass door. The display features Starlink terminal contacts and other genetic communication systems. All members are therefore invited to visit the booth to learn more about these products and services, engage with Telecom Limited representatives, and explore communication solutions that may be beneficial to your respective electorates and offices. Thank you. Honourable members, I acknowledge the presence in the public gallery of students and their teachers from Paradise College National Capital District. On behalf of the National Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to you all. Clerk, any petitions, notices? Honourable members, question time. Member for Kainantu.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker, for recognizing the people of Kainantu. I have a series of questions which I wish to direct to the Honourable Prime Minister. These questions concern the development of Kainan to mine. We have the mining minister, but I have decided to direct this question to the Prime Minister, who is the Minister of all Ministers, for the reason that there has been changes in mining ministry, and these concerns have been raised time and again with different mining ministers over time during this term, and they have not been addressed, and they continue to remain outstanding to the state. So the Prime Minister, being the Minister of all Ministers, need to take on these questions and respond to them. Mr. Assistant Speaker, considering the rapid progress and the successful operation of Kainan to mine, with its earnings exceeding $2 billion annually now, with the opening of the new plant and rapid progress the mine has made, and the state and developer are enjoying the fruits of the mine, whilst the people of Kainantu in the Eastern Highlands province, my people, and also the people of Waterise in Makam district, continue to be given raw deal and have not received any benefit at all. My questions are, firstly, question number one, how soon, or does the government, through the Ministry of Mining and MRA, have any plans to firstly transit the Kainan to mine from mining license, ML, to a special mining lease, pursuant to Section 33 of the Mining Act? And where is such plan? When does the government, through the Mineral Resources Authority, intend to do this? And if there's no such intention, why not? I'm asking this because I believe there are more benefits under the special mining list, SML, than under the ML, which is for smaller mines, and the earnings from this mine has far exceeded that expected of a small mine. And the government is enjoying the benefits of the taxes, and the company is enjoying the benefits because of the increase in the gold prices, but the landowners continue to remain onlookers and bystanders even to date. Second question is, where the government has no immediate plans to transit the mine from ML to SML, or where it is considering such action, can the government in the meantime put a halt on the continued mining activities by the developer Kainan to mine to prevent further extraction and siphoning of valuable minerals without compensation to the landowners until a review of the license is undertaken and a proper and appropriate license for mining is issued that captures the landowners' interests and benefits, and the grievances are sorted out, which are outstanding to date, and know that the landowners, like all project landowners in this nation, are equally recognized and accorded the respect that is extended to all other resource landowners in the country. Question number 3. In the event that the government finds itself unable to stop further progress of the mine to sort out issues of appropriate mining license and landowner benefits for whatever reasons, or it finds itself unable to stand with its exploited and oppressed landowners, that is states, of Kainantu and Makam, who continue to be exploited, oppressed, and sacked of the treasures of their own God-given land, passed on from generation to generation, and which they all have owned and lived on, defended and shed blood since time immemorial. It is now been taken over by government. You've seen introduced and adopted foreign concept of crown ownership of minerals under the soil, and giving it wholly to foreign developer who is now aggressively extracting and siphoning away valuable minerals without regard to indigenous landowner rights and benefits, and taking almost everything worth billions of dollars out, except for government taxes, which the government is simply enjoying. Does the government have any plans to review and accord the richest but poor black people of Kainantu and Makam benefits equivalent to or similar to those SML and MLAs in this nation? And if so, when can this government do this? And if not, why not? Question number 4. And if this government has no plans, for how long does the Maraperoso government intend to partner with this developer to exploit my humble people of Kainantu? And for how long will the government continue to allow and condone the exploitation of the rightful benefit? from resources extracted from their own God-given land, or allow a foreign-owned developer to continue reaping of the people of the 2 districts of the blessings of their land, and thus leaving them high and dry. Mr. Speaker, under Section 39 of the Mining Act, a mining lease can only be granted for a term not exceeding 20 years, and may be extended for a further term in accordance with Section 46 of the Mining Act. Kainan to Mine started under a mining lease since 2003 or thereabout, and to date has operated for 22 years now. In principle, and when by Section 39 of the Mining Act, a mining lease is to operate for up to 20 years and may be extended further. That being the case, my questions relating to that are: 1, can the Prime Minister admit that despite whatever extension the mining license given or extended to Kainan to Mine, in principle, the developer Kainan to Mine is operating illegally under an expired mining lease, given that a 20-year period for mining lease for Kainan to expire in 2023, and any extension of mining lease beyond 2023 is contrary to the spirit and intent of Section 39 of the Mining Act. 2, if, however, it is operating under an existing mining lease, can the Prime Minister clarify to the people of Kainan and Makam and to the government of Eastern Islands and Morobe when the mining lease was extended and why leadership and the people of the 2 electorates and provinces, including landowners, had not been notified or consulted? 3, if, however, no extension has yet been granted to the developer, can the Prime Minister inform this House and the people of the 2 districts and provinces the legal basis for the continued operation of the mine under ML beyond 20 years without proper extension of the mining lease? Number 4, however, if the mining lease had already been extended to enable the developer to operate beyond 2023, which information the landowners and respective leadership are not privy to because it seemed to be a very sacred and highly secret process and document for the developer, MRA and Ministry of Mining and the government, only to the exclusion of the Kainan and Makam landowners, their leadership for whatever reason known to these parties. What is the basis for such extension? Number 5, and if it has not been extended yet, can the government through MRA immediately stop the purported mining activities that is now being carried out and operating under an outdated, expired mining lease or a defective mining lease, and immediately commence the process of transiting the mine from mining lease to special mining lease, including landowner and the development forum? Number 6, further, can the state through the mining ministry and MRA consider review of and commence the process of compensation to the landowners of Makam and Kainan district for all the illegal mining or unjustified mining activities and deprivation of rights and benefits that the landowners had suffered for the last 22 years? I come to part C of my questions. Mr. Speaker, Part 5 of the Mining Act provides for compensation to landowners, and at Section 154 of the Mining Act makes a tenement holder, the developer, regardless of whether one is an exploration license holder or a mining lease holder or special mining lease holder, or lease for mining purposes, liable to pay compensation in respect of its entry and occupation of the land for purposes of exploration or mining or operations ancillary to mining and for all damages suffered and foreseen to be suffered. The rights of compensation are set out under this section. The holders of the landholders or landowners of Kainan to Mine have never seen something called compensation in the last 22 years of Kainan to Mine's operation to date. So, Mr. Speaker, Section 155 of the Mining Act makes it mandatory that the holder of the tenement, in this case the developer Kainan to Mine, cannot enter onto the occupied land or cannot enter and occupy the land subject of the tenement for purposes of mining until it has paid compensation, or it has an agreement with the landowners as to amount, time, and mode of compensation, an MOU, and or the developer had paid compensation. But payment of compensation by the developer to landowner or an agreement for payment of compensation is set precondition under Section 155, which must be complied with prior to the developer entering the land to carry out its mining activity. Now, my questions are: number 1, has the developer Kainan to Mine Limited executed or signed any contract or agreement with the landowner for compensation prior to entry onto and carrying out of its mining activities? 2, and if it had signed such agreement with the landowner for compensation, where did it sign the agreement or the agreements? And 3, if it has such agreement for compensation, has it been paid relevant compensation to the landowners in accordance with the agreement prior to its entry of the land on which it is now currently mining, as well as all of the exploration areas? And if the developer, number 4, if the developer Canaan to Mine Limited has been paying compensation to the landowners, and can the government through MRA make available all those records for my administration and the landowners for perusal and confirmation? Number 5, it has not been paying any compensation, which I am sure it has not. Does it have an agreement with the landowners for payment of compensation prior to its entry of the land to conduct mining activities as required by law? Number 6, if the government has such compensation agreement, can it make available through MRA a copy of such agreement for our benefit and that of the landowners? Question number 7, and where Canaan to Mine Limited has not been paying compensation, and where it has not executed one under its own hand, under what authority has it been allowed to enter and mine at Canaan to Mine mining area? And number 8, question number 8, and if it has not complied with Section 155 of the Mining Act, can the Prime Minister admit that mining activity carried out by the developer at Canaan to Mine is illegal? And if so, can the Prime Minister direct MRA to order a stop on the mining activity and move immediately to get all parties to comply with Section 155 of the Mining Act? Question number 9, can the Prime Minister confirm to this House, to the people of Eastern Highlands, Morobe Province as well as the Canaan to people and Makam people, that the current developer, Canaan to Mine Limited, does not have any agreement with the landowners, including any MOA or MOA, permitting its entry of the land and carrying out its mining activities? Number 10, can the Prime Minister confirm that without any agreement or MOU with the landowners under Section 155 of the Mining Act, and the developer is illegally on the land, and hence entry onto the land and the extraction and removal of minerals from the land consequently is illegal and unlawful? And with regards to Canaan to Mine mining MOU or MOA, I am aware of the 2003 MOA, which was the first and the only MOA signed initially between the developer Highlands Pacific Limited. I am also aware that there has never been another subsequent or revised or new MOA with any other developer, including the current Canaan to Mine Limited, which is on site and carrying out mining activities. Hence, if the developer is operating under the old and outdated MOA with Highlands Pacific Limited, can the Prime Minister admit that the MOA firstly is outdated for failure to review and update its terms at a set interval relevant to progress of the mine for the last 23 years, and today it remains outdated? And 2, can the Prime Minister admit also that this government has failed the people of Kainantu and Makam big time with regards to Kainantu mine by turning a blind eye to these important aspects of mining, particularly dealing with landowner rights and landowner benefits? And number 3, in the light of absence of a proper MOA and the enabling agreements permitting entry of developer, and considering that the developer is already illegally on the land mining, can the government through MRA immediately stop the mining and take necessary steps to direct the Canaan to Mine?
Honourable Member, may I interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
Your question has taken 15 minutes.
I'm just
I would like
concluding.
you
That's
to
a
go
last.
straight to your last question,
Yes,
please.
yes.
I think the overall idea that
Thank you.
Prime Ministers understand what the situation is.
Thank you.
Just go to your last question so we can give an opportunity to every member of Parliament to ask questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, this is a series of questions that has been outstanding for the last 4 years, and that's why I'm taking this liberty.
Get to your
This is
last
the only
question.
time Kainantu people and Makam people are given an opportunity to speak about a very important development project, Mr. Speaker. So I'm putting, when I have opportunity, Mr. Speaker, I'm putting everything to the government and the Prime Minister to deal with them now.
Prime Minister understands the whole idea. Just get to your last question.
Thank you. Yes, so that I think it's one of the last questions now. In the light of the absence of proper MOA, that's an important one, and other enabling agreements permitting entry of the developer, and considering the developer is already illegally on the mining, can the government through MRA immediately stop the mine and necessary steps be taken to direct the developer as well as relevant state agencies to review and update all agreements and records, including compensation to the landowners prior to commencement of the mine? Mr. Speaker, like I have said, I ask this question because these are long, outstanding issues. And the final important question that I wish to pose to the Prime Minister is, you have done well with Oktedi and Pogera, and I guess most other mines. Now, you seem to be forgetting Kainantu. What have you got to say to the people of Kainantu? That's an important question I want to pose to our good Prime Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Member. Honourable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker. I wish I had photographic memories to recall all the questions that my brother asked. I was sitting there listening to, and he had 3 series of questions, 5 each or something like this. But I'll try my best to, in summary, respond, but would really appreciate if the member for Kanatu, who has every right to ask questions for and on behalf of his people pertaining to Kanatu mines, send me a letter, copy to the mining minister on the matters that he's raised today. They are very important. I want to say from the outset, no mining company is operating in this country outside of the regulatory processes. I don't think the present Kanatu mine is operating outside of the regulatory process. But if upon inquiry, and that is so, then government will correct what is wrong. But I want to say from the outset, I think the company is operating under mining lease. We will check the lease conditions, and we'll check all necessary areas that needs to be checked pertaining to landowner benefits, landowner rights, country benefits and country rights, all benefits that is due to the people of Kanatu and Makam, to the people of Eastern Highlands and Morobe, to the people of the districts concerned. So that is an assurance I could give. This government is pretty much renowned for our advocacy for landowners to be appropriately benefited, for host districts and provinces to be appropriately benefited. In fact, this Pangu Coalition's overarching policy is that any benefit that is secured, 40% of total benefit is passed back to the province and people in which the resource is extracted from. So that policy envelopes Kanatu mine as much as other mines. In that ambit, we've progressed POGRA in a new POGRA, where we got 51% equity, of which 40% is passed back to the provinces and the landowners of our POGRA. Likewise, we are adjusting in the auxiliary benefits, in the oil and gas sector, in the fishery sector, in the forestry sector. Any resource we harvest, around 40% must go back to the people in the resource precinct, simply because they are project security. So in that context, Kanatu is an important mine. Remember, it is in your electorate. I've visited that mine twice already. And if there are any infringement to law, then we will bring it to notice and we will reconcile. I understand your views that the mine is now no longer qualified to operate on a mining lease. It must migrate to the special mining lease regime. If that is so, then it will happen so. If landowners have been left behind, I do, through this question, give you my highest assurance that within the month of June, July, and August, before we go into September 16 this year, the mining minister and MRA team will reconcile as to what needs to be done with the landowners and with the provincial government, with the districts concerned, and so your benefits is properly defined and passed on back to yourselves. So that's the assurance we could give you. Kanatu mine is not discriminated. In fact, our record shows in the last 3 years, Kanatu mine has emerged as the most performing mine in terms of efficiency of the mine, and the level of grade in the harvest is the highest we have in the country right now. And that resource would have been a resource on land, but the investor has come in. And when Barrick decided to move out from Kanatu, they felt the resource was of no value. Thankfully, Kanatu mine bought the asset, came back, did the drilling, found resource, and has worked under a mining lease. MRA would have supervised the mining lease, and I will make it my business to make sure we check the current regime in which, the regulatory regime in which this important mine operates, and certainly whether it's in ML or SML, what is accrued for landowners will be passed to landowners. I am also advised, equally, the company is now become a good corporate citizen. For instance, the road from Highlands Highway turn off to a place called Konkua. I think a good member, you and me know where Concours is. The road through Concours has been upgraded. I don't know when was the last time you traveled on this road. I passed through and I saw the road being upgraded. There's a conversational power line being pushed through that road all the way into the mine villages. Alternately at the floor, Markham Valley floor, we're also discussing for power access and road to also come up. So that is an important piece of real estate for our country. Your people will not be ignored. There are certain things that needs to be done by the mining department. We give them June, July, and August. And I asked the mining minister and yourself to meet at the earliest to go through this. And a member for Markham to come from the floor up, and together we could make sure our people benefit is properly established to be passed on to them and to the governments at the lower end, as well as national government collect from the taxes. National government has been collecting substantial tax from this mining company. We don't intend to stop unless a breach is found through the due advices that will come to us. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Member for Wewak.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker, Lok Sawelo people of Wewak. Question without notice from me like Salim Golo, good Minister belong Information, Communication and Technology. Mr. Acting Speaker, I rise today to direct a series of questions to the good Minister for Information, Communication and Technology regarding an escalating issue that is rapidly undermining public discourse, personal safety, and social cohesion across our nation. The rampant abuse of social media platforms, specifically Facebook, by individuals operating under fake names and fraudulent accounts. Mr. Acting Speaker, while digital connectivity is vital for the advancement of Papua New Guineans and Papua New Guinea as a nation, we are witnessing a dangerous trend where anonymous accounts, commonly known as fake profiles, are being weaponized to attack citizens, defame leaders, and publish entirely meaningless, highly critical and malicious falsehood. This is not a matter of healthy, democratic debate. This is about coordinated wave of cyberbullying, character assassination, and misinformation that targets every citizen, vulnerable individuals, and leadership alike. I believe many of our colleague members in this House, along with their families, have been direct victims of this unchecked digital abuse. Therefore, Mr. Acting Speaker, I would ask our good Minister for ICT, the first question: what specific immediate legislative or regulatory measures in your ministry taking to curb the creation and the use of fake accounts on major social media platforms like Facebook in Papua New Guinea? Number two, can the Minister update this House and the people of Papua New Guinea on the enforcement and effectiveness of the Cybercrime Code Act 2016 regarding anonymous online defamation and harassment? Number three, is the Ministry working on mechanism collaboration with international tech companies such as Meta to fast-track and identify and removal of fraudulent profiles that repeatedly violates laws and abuse our entire citizens? Last question: what clear avenues of immediate recourse and support exist for many silent victims of social media abuse who currently feel helpless against anonymous online attacks? Mr. Acting Speaker, I stand here as one of the victims. I am not on Facebook,
but plenty of fake all accounts so look him name blow me. Now, pagrabim reputation blow me as a national MP. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.
Minister for Information, Communication and Technology.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me talk. Thank you. Long, good, important question raised by Honourable Member Blowiwek, Honourable Sambam. Me Sanaposem Acting Minister Long ICT and me how much long this very important question me pose him. Mr. Speaker, this is a very, very important question, which is a question where I think affect him Yumi Olgata. And because it is a very important question, I will get a full, detailed reply. But on the onset, I will try to give some reply that in which actions we've taken thus far. Now, Mr. Speaker, one of the immediate interventions that the Department of ICT has now taken care of, and which has been one of our biggest challenges, is the identification of Facebook users. In 2025, I did visit, late 2025, I did visit the head of Meta in Sydney. Meta is a company in which manages Facebook, and obviously globally it manages right throughout different regions. And in terms of the parameters which Meta looks after in this side of the region is obviously Australia is a bigger continent of the Pacific region, and including Papua New Guinea. And the discussions with Meta is that they find it for us when we recommended to Meta that for us to better manage the identity of our Facebook users, we would like for you to impose as a prerequisite in registering online, if you could use either a driver's license of PNG or an NID of PNG. In any case, one of the challenges that they face is that their feedback was that there is a law of privacy, which makes it difficult. However, Mr. Speaker, that is the same line they've kept on repeating. I now know that my department have engaged with them in several moments of engagement in trying to address particularly the users of Facebook and quarantining Papua New Guinea so that we can identify those that use this tool or this application inside PNG. So what our department has done now is that we've recently launched what we call our digital pass or digital ID. It's now online. You can go on your application, be it your Android phones, or if you have an Apple phone, it's on your iOS. Now, the idea on digital ID or digital pass is that you can immediately register yourself as a citizen of PNG through your fingerprint and your facial recognition, and it will give you immediately your digital pass. Now, in my recent engagement, again, just 2 weeks ago, I did make a strong recommendation to the Australian government that you have a company, Meta, that we would like you to now just flag them and advise them that we would strongly now recommend you to ensure that all Facebook users in PNG can now use and utilize or actually have part of the criteria for Facebook is to use the digital ID. Because now, by using digital ID, you can now zero down on the particular person using their account. It will also, the digital ID will now also apply to all our telco in the country. And now that telco regulation comes under NICTA. and NICTA have been put on notice also to ensure that immediately the industry starts working through their system to fast-track the implementation of our digital ID. Just yesterday, I met with our biggest telco, Digicel, and they're already now working through a committee to now work towards ensuring that now they incorporate our digital ID into the telco and SIM card users. This would really fast-track, but this will also now start to identify users and abusers should the user of Facebook be abusive, and we can identify them through their digital ID. So in terms of immediate intervention into that space of social media uses, I can safely now advise the Honourable House and my good member for WEWAC that immediate intervention into that space for enforcement would really come down to this mechanism. And I strongly believe that that has been the missing link for us to zoom down and zero down on those that have been abusing the social media space, and us not being able, or the regulators and the policing not being able to enforce. There are many users that use VPN, which is a disguise in terms of even the regulator not identifying who the user is. There has been multiple users of different phone numbers. Now, what the digital ID will do is that it will single you out. It will single you out because it will capture your biometric plus your fingerprint and will pin you down to a single number. So that way in itself now, it will zero down on a single user. And so you can now start have that traceability when you are trying to enforce those that are using the social media platforms such as Facebook to discredit others or other citizens. So I just wanted to give confidence to the House and to our good member for WEWAC that one of our biggest challenges has always been about identifying and zeroing down on the Facebook user. And the mechanism and the tool that we're using now and we will be implementing or already started to implement is the use of our digital ID, Honourable Assistant Speaker. And so that will now help us with our enforcement. And I just want to encourage all our honourable leaders, please, if you do have time, the applications are right now available. Go down on your, if you have an Android phone, go to your Google Play. If you have an Apple phone, go to your iOS. It's now available. And you download your digital ID on those platforms. Thank you, Assistant Speaker.
Thank you. Governor for WEWAC, Governor for ECP, sorry.
Thank you.
Oh.
Me, Arab Speaker, I know you.
Pardon me, Governor for ECP, you reserve your question. Let's get to the supplementary. Governor NCD, what's your supplementary?
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker, for giving me a chance to ask this supplementary question. Before I ask, can I seek leave of the House to extend question time? Because, Mr. Assistant Speaker, two question tasolna, you go over 35 minutes finish. So, plenty of members like ask you question. So, enough me ask leave for Parliament to extend question time, even though you may know 45 minutes. Here.
Thank you, Governor.
Yes.
The question is, question time be extended. Those in favor say aye. Or please stand. We have absolute majority. Honourable members, question time is now extended for another 20 minutes. You can continue with the supplementary, Governor.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker. Supplementary question, let me like ask him, Minister too long, ICT, media information, about the Starlink. You may get a plenty of you mean inside government official, you play work long, promoting this Starlink for reasons like connectivity and that kind of thing. But you got bedside plus Starlink. Me one long government side, you plus survey. Me by asking question, me.
That is not a supplementary question. That is a totally new subject you're raising on the floor of Parliament.
No, it's about ICT.
And we will regard that as a new question.
So
you may reserve your
report
question.
too long about Starlink. In
No.
this report, them can present to the Parliament.
Honourable Governor, you reserve your question. You can ask that later.
All right.
As for a supplementary. Honourable Governor for ECP, you may continue with your question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm a Maslong, strong player ruling below you. Let me come down good. Mr. Assistant Speaker, ask him below me, one kind too, but me put him straight along. Minister below mining. Mr. Assistant Speaker, he got plenty of alluvial mining operations. He walk long, come up long, country below you me. Na mi bla too long isipik, mi play got one player mi oklo operate on top long common base village na biani ma amaku warai come down ni come lo Maprik town. Na mi understand osem this law mining list too where MRA give him out one pla mining list mi karam up him half long Maprik town too, including where house ke mi sanap long him. Na mi play got plenty heavy come up lo this pla mining operation long inside lo common base na mo lo pining road blong me come down biani warai come close to Maprik town. Now, Mr. Speaker, me look sabe also. Ananit lo mining law blow you me all mining license government is sabe give him na ground anta blong ground blong all people blow you me. So we have a bit of a conflict in terms of the land is owned by the people who reside over the mining list where me sit down underneath. Now, me play got plenty heavy ready come up long hablo me lo Maprik. We got kind robbery, crossfight, na kind of semi-oklo, come up, display mining areas. Now, Mr. Speaker, Mibla provincial government is no got power. And tablo display mining operations or mining leases. But time heavy come up, all people is a kamlo Mibla. Now, all mining company too is a kamlo Mibla. Now, only expecting Mibla to resolve all this problem. The licensing authority is MRA. Also, sit down lo Mospina give him license, Mr. Speaker. But they are not in Maprik to deal with the issues that escalate out of these mining operations. I think same issue you got lo wow bulolo na blanti ol nar lahap long country. So me like asking minister, me understand him right long national government long issue him this license. But me like him too because you plus are collecting tax, you plus are collecting fees, you plus are collecting all get a money lo this mining operations. Enough you give him one commitment long house tete. Suppose you in lo sali one officer come na or two or three officer come na permanently based lo Maprik. So that all you can look lo not only the operations in Maprik, you may got antap lo Sumbari, you may got lo Tamo lo Engoram, where plenty fight work lo come up lap, no lo Kiliman meritu go come start. In fact, last time lo Tamo only attack him operator na close to kill him. Now Mipla no got ability as a provincial government to monitor those things because those are national government powers, Mr. Speaker. So enough, Minister, you give him commitment now. Lo you by Salimol office I come lo province lo me lo where all get a have this lo mining operations stop where you play say give him license long him. You play come na sit down na manage him security, manage him expectations lo man meri lo place. Now look out him to company where you play give him license long him. Because me play no got ability lo make him. This play mo ask him lo me, Mr. Assistant Speaker. Thank you.
Minister for Mining.
Thank you. First time through me, thank you, Law. Good block question where Governor Law ECP asked him. Basically, he got him AML where AML license alluvial mining law Papa ground restricted law Papua New Guinea National Sasol law gonchad law display mining and then he got him mining license and then a big block project or SML. Question where Governor asked him I'm talking me plus have a collective tax. Yes, government have a collective tax. There is all money. Government yet no suspend him law here. Have a scale him all this money go out law. I got the provinces, no got the districts. So Mila put in this law record money where government working law mining. You know, government them spending more got law Waigani. Have a scale him more got some blood place. You got the mining staff. Some blood place no got the mining staff. But government through law DSIP and through law. PSIP government does fair law display as Kelly Mogata law display. Question where me ask him law officers law base lo maprik lo monitoring mo display igatim kaino se lo bulolo igatim all officers staff on the ground where also be monitoring all issues lo mining on the ground. So mixing question lo governor mibla by pamitok sawe lo MRA lo mibla can look lo display na all officers can go out on the ground or work lo warden lo all can go lo anid lo work lo MRA igatim all warden lo mining and stuff and work lo go out na inspecting all display. And also earlier last month MRA been issued one public notice of some usati working illegal mining throughout the country or all display MRA by policy mo display na all mining all barons ba go out na confiscating all resource or machine where suppose you working illegal mining. So governor mila assure me was MRA putin la notice out finish law last month. So MRA by go out na working all this work all officers from Mipla. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Governor from Morobe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, through the Chair of Luxavelo Morobe. Mr. Speaker, my question without notice, a couple of questions. Me like ask him, Minister in charge of Community Development, Religion, but them no stop, so but me ask him, Prime Minister. Now me ask him if Chairman in charge Logata Mama Law, long country can take note too. Law, couple of questions me raise him. Mr. Speaker, my questions are one, me like thank him government. Before I raise these questions, I think a more better candidate would ask this question, but me no look on the pastor or song on the priest of Laos. So I feel the need to raise this question, and I thank the government where I think we brought forward a very critical amendment to our constitution that PNG be recognized as a Christian country. Therefore, this morning, you me prayer, you make him Lord's Prayer and a Bible to the front, me. Prime Minister, me thank him is like act you make him law, identity law, Papua New Guinea was a Christian country. At the same time, me thank him Education Minister, and I think some of the vocal members of Parliament, including Member of Law North Wagi, who have been very vocal of us introducing religion, Christian faith as a compulsory course instead of school blaming. So there was so much in line him. Faith blaming, a belief blaming instead long. Christian identity blaming. It's a speaker at the same time. You at Basabe, members of this house will know that time you go through the length and breadth of Papua New Guinea, at most cases, kind of some now Governor Blow ECP regime question blow alluvial mining. Planet time you looking on office blow alluvial mining but stable each ward. You don't looking office blow forestry stable each ward blow country more than 6,000 wards blame PNG, but by looking on churches stop throughout the country. Every ward area got one church or two or three. Kind of similar Finsaven and Mibla confess, so Mibla's got 5 or 6 house low too. Low one ward. And for that basis, Mr. Speaker, I think there were some comments around 1, Constitution, 2, preamble blaming. Mr. Speaker, my first question, there was an idea that we mooted in government that time you look him national pledge blaming. Mr. Speaker, you may make him pledge. There is a pledge. Every school time, also Martin's a raising man also making pledge. It's indoctrinated into the children as they grow up. Now, pledge blimi mitogosem. We pay homage. Me pick him up this line. We pay homage to our cultural heritage, the source of our strength. Now, my argument, na me put him law. Now, some question is, custom na culture belong usait. Because you make a Kantian culture. Some culture, you make Kiliman, Kantian passing way, you make a low country. And there was an idea, and I think Chairman Blong, Law Reform Commission, they take note that there was an idea that you should replace him, not talk. We pay homage to our God, the source of our strength. So my question, where are we in terms of that through Prime Minister? Because me I'd ask him, Chairman Law Reform. Number 2, Prime Minister me talk, thank you long all ministry where you me create him. I want to ask you a question as to the, because church and big blood true, Mr. Speaker. By me ministry standalone religion or faith or not. Because now you look at Mr. Speaker, rampant in the streets. Man declaring mole to some prophet, apostle, pastor, not preaching kind doctrine, Mr. Speaker. And we don't have a religion board that really sits and say, no, this is the confirmed doctrine. It's every man and dog for himself preaching. So are we going to allow that, Mr. Speaker? Number 3, time yumi ko long ausig na surgeon la operate lo hat plom blaman. Surgeons are washing man blame 100 per time. Now this all pastor wa yumi allow mo lo preach too. They are touching the minds and hearts of our people. Now whatever they tell them, for example, Mr. Speaker, time yumi government talking about go lo ground, no lim ground na walk. Sample pastor out him talk na talk. Beten, God bless him you. So it's going against the grain of what we as a government are telling our people to work. Some of these pastors are telling them, pray, 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 God bless him you. So my question without notice, 1, by me amend him, this la tok blimi osem strong blimi kam lo God or by me lare osem strong blimi kam lo culture. Number 2, you got plan lo yumi got some like a religion board where. And can talk right of some certified pastors go to school 4 years, 3 years can out them talk or anybody lo declare me to some profit. Number 3, by me said putting up a standalone ministry, coffee you go long country, man milo no got coffee, some lamanda soga gold mine, guess. But auslo do him stop lo ogata lo papunigini. So you must cut on plus standalone ministry belong religion or faith as well because it affect him. All Papua New Guinea people blame me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Morobe. Thank you.
Honourable Prime Minister.
All right, Mr. Assistant Speaker, me thank him, Governor Morobe, long question, proposal blogan. I mean, put him, Kamla Yumi, long Thrime Law, reorder him national pledge blame I think this plan me higher than my pay grade. Need him collective wisdom, lo email gada. So, Mr. Speaker, me propose that the good governor me put him this thinking blogan into a proposal. Case him assembly blogan lo Morobe endorse him. Salim Kamna, you can look how you may redefine him homage me. I think it's talk in order. We respect our culture. The homage must go to the Creator God who said the creative Malkada. So it's a proposal that Sabu Semi Karem through House Tutuman. Let us him come here, you can look now. You may part of our talk long. We strong him again. Constitutional identity we can look again display. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister. Honourable Member for Talasia.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker Lok Sabha Long Talasia. Assistant Speaker, my question without notice goes to the Minister for Lands and Physical Planning. Assistant Speaker, the registration of incorporated land groups or ILGs remains a lengthy, costly and cumbersome process of customary land owners. The process involves clan mobilization, preparation and adaptation of family trees, registration of birth certificates with the National Identification System, and the lodgement of application with the Registrar of ILGs. Many applicants are also required to travel repeatedly to Port Moresby to resolve administrative issues, resulting in significant financial hardship and challenges. Mr. Speaker, my questions are, why does the ILG registration process continue to take more than 12 months? In many cases before a registration certificate is issued. How many ILG applications are currently pending with the Registrar of ILGs, and what measures is the department taking to clear the backlog? Does the government have any plans to decentralize the ILG registration process to provincial or regional lands office to improve accessibility and reduce delays for rural communities? Will the department consider establishing an integrated digital
registration system linking the Lands Department, NID, and other relevant agencies to streamline the ILG registration process and reduce the need for applicants to travel to Port Moresby. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister for Lands, Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker. I'd like to thank the member for Talasia for the very prudent questions he's asked on this very important subject. I'd like to try to explain a little bit, but if you can forward that in writing to me also, so I can also reply in writing to him. But I will, for the purposes of the question in Parliament, the registration of the ILG, yes, I agree with him. It is a very long, cumbersome process. I totally agree with that. We have seen that, and the Department of Lands at the moment is currently working on ensuring that we do certain amendments to make the cumbersome process a lot easier for people to access. Whilst we are on the subject, the current process of the ILG registrations also leaves open a lot of misuse, inconvenience, and abuse, Mr. Assistant Speaker. And that is also why Lands, working in consultation with other bodies, are trying to bring in an amendment so that we can be able to utilize a better way of addressing our customary land registration. The ILG process that we currently use, although it is meant for a good purpose, has been constantly abused by a lot of learned individuals taking advantage of the system and abusing the rights of a lot of our customary landowners. Customary landowners, Mr. Assistant Speaker, has been led to sign off documents thinking that they will be beneficial to a lot of these development processes. This has been abused by a lot of intellectual people in our communities. You can see that in a lot of agricultural areas, in a lot of rural areas, Mr. Assistant Speaker, that some of these processes are abused where our learned individuals have taken advantage of the current ILG system and has pushed some of our landowners who are not as skilled or eloquent, has pushed them aside to make certain, and working in partnership with a lot of developers, have abused that system. So I'd like to assure the good member for Talasia and the House, Mr. Speaker, that the Lands Department currently is working on certain amendments and also working in conjunction with some of the findings that the Parliamentary Committee and other issues we have seen can be addressed to make certain that the ILG system in its current form be amended to make it accessible, easier, and less open to abuse, or to find an alternate system that can be able to look forward to ensure that our systems are beneficial, Mr. Assistant Speaker, to the people that we serve, the little people in our villages and our customary landowners. Because land, Mr. Assistant Speaker, is very sensitive, and we need to approach it and make it accessible, make it easier for our landowners to access, to register, to survey, and to ensure that they benefit from the land that they own. Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
Governor for
Mr. Deputy Speaker, Assistant Speaker, I wish to ask a series of questions to the good Minister for the Department of Personal Management. Through you, Mr. Assistant Speaker, my questions are in relation to a recent announcement that was made that indicates that an organization by the name of Dayforce has been engaged to manage the payroll of the public service. So, according to the media, this was recently entered into, whereby a master service agreement with Dayforce Limited was signed to replace and modernize the government payroll system, following the serious findings by the Deloitte's audit, whereby
widespread payroll irregularities, including ghost employees, duplicate records, unauthorized allowances, and weaknesses in internal controls that resulted in significant losses of public funds. So while the government has presented this new system as the solution to these long outstanding problems, the public deserves some assurance that it will genuinely eliminate payroll fraud and strengthen accountability. My questions to the Minister are this, and I understand that the Minister will be bringing a report in the near future. Myself, as well as Chairman of the Special Parliamentary Committee on Public Sector Reforms, will be also bringing a similar report to close this long saga, this chapter that's taken so long to implement these recommendations, urgent recommendations that had been made by Deloitte as a result of the Deloitte payroll audit. Minister, can you, through you, Mr. State Speaker, can the Minister explain how the new Day4 system will identify and remove ghost workers, duplicate employer records, and other fraudulent entries that were highlighted in the Deloitte audit? Question 2. What safeguards will be built into the system to prevent unauthorized allowances, salary adjustments, manual payroll manipulations from being entered and processed? Question 3. Given that the new system is still being implemented, what immediate measures are currently in place to prevent ongoing payroll fraud and leakage of public funds? Will the payroll system, question number 4, provide a complete audit trail showing who makes payroll changes, when those changes are made, and whether they were properly authorized? Question number 5. Who will have ultimate administrative control over the payroll system, government officers or day force, and what measures are in place to prevent abuse of that authority? Question number 6. What is the total value of the contract with Dayforce, including implementation, licensing, maintenance, and any ongoing service fees? And finally, question number 7. What penalties, remedies, or contractual protections exist to ensure taxpayers are compensated if the system fails to deliver the promised payroll reforms or fails to prevent fraud? Now, given the serious findings of the Deloitte audit, will the Minister commit to tabling regular public reports to Parliament detailing the number of ghost workers removed, payroll savings achieved, and disciplinary or criminal actions taken against those responsible for payroll fraud? Thank you very much.
Minister for Public Service.
Thank you, Mr. State Speaker. This question, I thank the Governor for Oro and also my Chairman for the Public Sector Parliamentary Bipartisan Committee on Public Sector Reform. The question that the Governor and my Chairman has asked is highly technical. So I'll try to answer some of them, and most of them are basically captured in the new version that the Department has already embarked on. Firstly, I'd like to announce to the Parliament and also to our public service that the Master Service Agreement was signed 2 weeks ago in Sydney between the Dayforce Australia and the government of PNG. And that now gives way for us to work towards completely transferring the payroll from Department of Finance to my department, the Department of Personal Management. It's been a long road, but I can assure the Governor and the Chairman and all our public servants that because of the high risks involved in making sure that we have a system that is reliable, technically competent, to be able to make sure that we have the system that will be transferred from Department of Finance to the Department of Personal Management, so we can run the pay without any more problems and basically what the Governor has asked is all to do with the new system that will be now upgraded from version 12 to version 24. So the version 24 captures almost everything that the Governor has asked. It will no longer entertain any manual system. It will be electronic system, Mr. State Speaker. No more, like now, the government spends about 200 or 300 million every fortnight to pay the 130 or 60,000 public servants across the country. And within one press of a button of one officer, the 200 or 300 million is paid out to the banks and the bank accounts of all these public servants. Just one press. And so this system that we are not going to start to implement in the next, we're looking at, Mr. Assistant Speaker, at the end of this month, there will be a short ceremony that we will now witness the transfer, complete transfer from Department of Finance to Department of Personnel Management towards the end of this month. What will happen is, Mr. Assistant Speaker, is this. For example, if all our HR officers in the provinces or in the government departments submit a PVA, pay variation advice, to maybe pay or deduct a pay to a finance company, for example, for a deduction, that will no longer be done manually. It will be done now electronically. So you compare the system with the Department of Finance that is now using the server called IFMS. So the Alaska payroll, Mr. Assistant Speaker, is the same that will be run for all payroll management. So in parallel with finance, finance is responsible to make payments or transfer of funds to agencies on when it is required. For the case of payroll, the Alaska payroll system, this is to do with a press of a button every fortnight to remit out a total of 200 or 300 million kina, one press of a button by one person only, to hit all the public servants' accounts in just a second. And so this system now is reliable, it's no longer manual. We will also have passwords issued out, so we know exactly which paying officer in each agency has authorized that or agency head. So when there is a fraud or involved in duplication of names or whatever, we will pick out in the system. So I'd like to thank this government, Prime Minister, and the government and the Treasury also for releasing, and also commendation to you, Chairman, yourself, and Governor, for being the force behind me and from my department to make sure that we work together and especially to get a Deloitte report out. This is the implementation, Mr. Assistant Speaker, of the Deloitte report that was heavily enforced by the Chairman and Governor of Oro. So I'd like to announce to everyone that we will no longer be using that. It's the same thing that IFMS system is now. The Department of Finance, District Finance Manager, and the District Administrator no longer sign forms. Everything is on the phone with a password. So we'll be doing that as the same system that we'll be using. This is now upgraded to version 24, and we'll have no longer manual manipulation. For example, the leave entitlements will be issued from that, and you can use that to payroll. I sign my Form 11 on the phone. I don't use any more printer and scanner. So it's instantly done on the phone. So that is why, Mr. Assistant Speaker, it's called a smartphone, not for anything to be. So I'm like Tok Saban and Asuri Mogota public servants and all the agency heads, ministers, governors, to support your HR office so that they can competently run the system when it's operational. But thank you, Mr. Speaker, Assistant Speaker, for this, and also thank the Governor for the question. Thank you.
Member for Abao.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker, for recognizing the people of Abao in the last half a minute. I got two very short questions in relation to two activities currently happening on the Magi Highway, and the question without notice is directed to the good Minister for Highways and Works and Highways. There are two major contracts that the good government has given on the Magi Highway. One of them is the new one, which is to upgrade and seal from Imila Bridge to Moreguina turnoff, but it's actually Manabo turnoff. So if the minister can take note of these names of the contract areas. The current contract is now doing upgrades from Imila, and it's now come to Kupiano turnoff. The gravel pitch that they're using is between Kupiano Turnoff and Kupiano Town. And their base is between Kupiano Turnoff and Kupiano Town. The current contract has not included the upgrade and sealing from Kupiano Turnoff to Kupiano Town. It's like a contract that will seal from, for example, from Gaire to before Gaire, and about 6 miles before Mosby, the sealing stops. It's exactly like that principle. So I'm requesting through you, and part of my grievance debate, but I'm formalizing it through our normal request on behalf of the people of Abao, but not only the people of Abao, but now that the highway is to Milne Bay, the whole of Milne Bay and Central Province people are using this highway. Because Kupiano is our headquarters and this current contract, and from Kupiano Turnoff to Kupiano Town is 7 kilometers. And this contract will end at what we call Manabo Turnoff, which is 7 kilometers from Moreguina Turnoff. So my request on behalf of the people of Milne Bay and Central, particularly for Abao, is can this contract include the 7 kilometers from Turnoff to Kupiano Town, because it's our headquarters. And then the 7 kilometers can be shortened from Manabo Turnoff back to Moreguina Town Turnoff with the same contractor. Because it's very sad, while the headquarters of this contractor is between Kupiano and Turnoff, and they're using gravel in between, it would be really good to upgrade this area before they move on to further down to Moreguina Turnoff. So that's the request, and I want to thank the government for including this upgrade to seal on this important part of the highway, and I'm really grateful. The second question is the current contractor, I believe, has been awarded for probably about 2 or 3 times on the same area. And that is from 6 Mile to Gaire, right through to Rigo part of the highway. So it's Hirikoyari Electorate, Rigo Electorate, and Abao Electorate. That is the same contract repeatedly given for 2 or 3 times. Now, this is what's actually happening. I traveled 2 days ago back from Kupiano. Because this contractor has been given a very long part of the highway, the current re-graveling going on from 6 Mile to Gaire has taken a long time. They've also gone to Rigo side to clean up the broken up pieces of the shield highway, put gravel on them, but because it's so far away, they're still back here in Gaire, and all those gravel is washed away. My question is, why can't the government review this contract and allocate this long length of this highway to 2 or 3 contractors? Because the west part of the current Magi Highway, and Minister, if you can note these villages down, is from Sarawakena to Sivitatana. That's the west part of the current highway. And then after that is from Levogolo to Alepa. This contractor went and cleaned it up, filled the broken parts, and now over time, because they're still working on this side of the highway, all that is also already washed away, and we are having trouble commuting between Port Moresby and Milne Bay. So we strongly recommend that this contract be reviewed and that 2 or 3 contractors should be awarded so that this work can be done. It's now taken 8 years for this contractor to finish the job. Thank you very much.
Minister for Works and Highways.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker, and I want to thank the good member for Abao for raising very important questions regarding the roads in his responsibility area, or a member of his electorate. There's a series of questions with a few details in those questions, so I would ask the honourable member to make avail of the question, so I will be able to reply accordingly. But just for the purpose of just some information quickly before we conclude our question time, the contractor that is currently doing the roads is Kovac. That is currently undertaking a survey and design works now between Muruguina to Gadaisu as we speak. I've been informed that our team are currently on site in Alatau, and project commencement last week, and the contractor has mobilized to on site. We have directed the contractor to build the major bridges to be constructed, and we've allowed to allow smooth traffic to flow between the road while it's being upgraded. Now, just specifically on Gadaisu to Alatau, the contract is funded by TSSP, DFAT. The contractor is Global Construction. He's currently on site and undertaking maintenance work. We have done some contract amendments, and that's taken contract amendments and took over the unsealed section between Sagarai Junction to Gadaisu to be upgraded and sealed also under TSSP funding. Now, Alatau to East Cape is also funded under TSSP, and tender is pending to sort under the procurement issues. More specifically, under Kupiano Junction to Kupiano Town is under the responsibility of the district, and so I just wanted to highlight that. However, our good secretary and our team have undertaken that should there be some savings, we will look to assist our good member. So I'd ask the good honourable member to provide his questions in details, and I'll be able to respond accordingly in the next sitting. Thank you, Assistant Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable members, we have come to the end of our question time. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move a motion without notice.
Is leave granted? Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I move that so much of standing orders be suspended as would prevent notice number 212, Government Business, called on forthwith.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Order of the day number 212, treaty document. Agreement under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea on the conservation and sustainable use of the marine biological diversity in areas beyond national jurisdiction. BB&J, paper and statement. Motion to take note of paper. Resumption of debate from 3 June, Leader of Government Business in continuation.
Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the ratification of the agreement of the conservation and sustainable use of marine biological diversity of the area beyond national jurisdiction, commonly known as the BB&J agreement. Mr. Speaker, this agreement is not simply about the conservation, it is about sovereignty, economic opportunity, and Papua New Guinea's future as one of the world's great ocean nations, or nation. Mr. Speaker, PNG is not only a land of mountains, forests, and rivers, we also are a major maritime nation with exclusive economic zones covering more than 2.4 million square kilometers. Our future, Mr. Speaker, prosperity will depend not only on what lies beneath our land, but also on what lies within and beyond our oceans. Mr. Speaker, the blue economy is one of our great economic frontiers of this century, and PNG must be positioned to participate in it. Mr. Speaker, this agreement does not diminish PNG's sovereignty. Our territorial waters remain ours. Our exclusive zones remain ours. Our sovereign rights remain protected under international law. Mr. Speaker, by ratifying this agreement, we are not surrendering our sovereignty. We are exercising sovereignty by ensuring that PNG has a voice in shaping the rules that will govern the future of our ocean. Mr. Speaker, the agreement also creates opportunities for scientist research, technology transfer, capacity building, international partnership, and future benefiting sharing from maritime genetic resources. Mr. Speaker, this is not merely an environmental agreement, it is an economic and strategic agreement. Mr. Speaker, as Melanesians, the ocean is more than water. It is our history, it is our identity, and it is our highway. Healthy oceans mean food security, livelihoods, biodiversity, and resilience for our coastal and island communities. Protecting the ocean is therefore not only an environmental responsibility, it is a national responsibility. Mr. Speaker, failure to ratify risks excluding PNG from future decisions that will directly affect our region and our interests. Mr. Speaker, we are not at the table. Pardon me, Mr. Speaker. If we are not at the table, others will make those decisions for us. PNG must never allow that to happen. Mr. Speaker, this agreement strengthens our international voice, protects our strategic interests, and positions PNG as a leader in the Blue Pacific. It does not weaken our sovereignty, Mr. Speaker, it strengthens it. For these reasons, I support the ratification of the BBA-NZ agreement and commend it to this honourable House. The land made us a nation, but the ocean will help determine our future as a wise parliament would protect both. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister of Foreign Affairs. Oh, pardon me. Governor Horo.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to also commend the good Minister for Foreign Affairs and also join the debate in support of this. And I have a few points to add or to make mention of here. Mr. Speaker, the Pacific Ocean contains some of the richest and most diverse marine ecosystems on Earth. Many species inhabiting our oceans remain unknown to science. Many possess potential medicinal, scientific, ecological, and economic value that future generations may depend upon. Once these ecosystems are destroyed, they may never recover. And as custodians of one of the most significant marine environments, Papua New Guinea has both a moral responsibility and a national interest in ensuring their protection. We therefore have every reason to support efforts that strengthen marine conservation, improve scientific research, promote sustainable fisheries, and ensure that marine resources are managed responsibly. Mr. Speaker, whilst conservation is the stated objective of this agreement, one issue that continues to concern many Papua New Guineans is the growing international push toward deep-sea mining. The reality is that humanity's knowledge of deep ocean ecosystems remains extremely limited. The world's most eminent scientists agree on this. For instance, the impact of deep-sea mining on the pelagic waters, where life forms in the ocean. Life on this earth formed in the oceans, by the way. The unknowns are too great. Therefore, the potential consequences are profound, and deep-sea mining may result in the destruction of unique seabed habitats, the extinction of species before they have even been identified, massive sediment plumes spreading through the water columns, disruption of marine food chains, adverse impacts on fish stocks and migratory species, long-term ecological damage that may be irreversible and that will impact significantly in a negative way towards our coastal communities. Mr. Speaker, the perpetrators, the ambitious entities, organizations that intend to mine our ocean seabeds are doing so for very selfish reasons. They're not doing it because they're going to discover something that's going to improve humanity. They're doing it primarily for profit. And they don't care about our coastal communities. We are responsible for our coastal communities. We have been elected by our coastal communities to protect their interests. not to succumb to the profit and greed merchants who are arriving here trying to convince us with their clever words, their fancy suits, and their expensive hotel rooms. So the fundamental question is this: how can humanity be responsible and exploit the ecosystems that it does not yet even understand? Mr. Assistant Speaker, the impact on coastal communities is profound. This is about our people. Throughout Papua New Guinea, hundreds of thousands of citizens depend directly upon healthy marine ecosystems for food, employment, income generation, and cultural continuity. The fishermen of Oro Province, the coastal communities of Milne Bay, the people of Manus, New Island, East Sepik, Bougainville, and West New Britain, leaders, all of you are here, elected by these people to protect their interests at all times, 24/7, 365 days a year, as long as you are a member of parliament, as long as you are a leader. When marine ecosystems suffer, it is these communities that suffer first. For instance, just most recently in New Island, we had dead fish rising up, and the coastal communities were very frightened. I am sure that the good Minister for Fisheries will bring a report explaining what this is all about. But that in itself is an example of what happens when we don't pay attention to who's in our waters doing what. Any activity that threatens fisheries resources, marine biodiversity, or ocean health threatens the food security and livelihoods of ordinary Papua New Guineans. The economic interest of a few must never be allowed to outweigh the long-term interest of the many. Mr. Speaker, Papua New Guinea has already learned difficult, costly lessons regarding deep-sea mining. The Solwara 1 project, failed project, was promoted as a revolutionary development opportunity that would place Papua New Guinea at the forefront of a new industry. Instead, it ended in financial collapse, uncertainty, controversy, and significant losses to the tune of more than 300 million kina. Taxpayers' money. The experience demonstrated the dangers of moving ahead with emerging extractive industries before adequate scientific understanding, environmental safeguards, and financial protections that are firmly established. We should not repeat mistakes that have already cost our nation dearly. Mr. Speaker, international environment law recognizes what is known as the precautionary principle. The principles state that where there is a risk of serious or irreversible environmental damage, the absence of complete scientific certainty should not be used as a justification for proceeding with potentially harmful activities. There are a few situations where this principle is more relevant than deep-sea mining. The burden of proof must rest upon those advocating extraction, not upon those seeking protection. Mr. Speaker, conservation requires enforcement. Who are moving around in our waters? What are they doing? The Pacific, including Papua New Guinea, has become a hub, a haven for transnational criminal organizations, operating almost at will and whim, doing as they please, moving in and out of our waters, plundering our oceans, wreaking havoc. Conservation without enforcement, Mr. Speaker, is merely an aspiration. Papua New Guinea possesses one of the largest maritime jurisdictions in the Pacific region. Yet we continue to face significant challenges in monitoring and protecting our waters. Mr. Speaker, I can tell you, for instance, that my review of the surveillance system used by our fisheries authority indicates that that is an outdated piece of technology. It is at best the same technology as flight tracker. It can pick up ships known as black ships, dark ships, ships that have transponders, that have turned off their transponders, but it cannot pick up those ships that are operating in our waters without transponders. Large vessels that are operating just outside our EEZ, fast boats that enter into our waters for our lucrative maritime resources, especially our tuna, where the world's breeding grounds of tuna are found in Papua New Guinea, plunder hundreds of millions of dollars worth of our maritime resources, extract them and take them away without us even having an idea that this was happening. This illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing continues to deprive our nation of valuable resources. Meanwhile, transnational criminal activities including drug trafficking, human trafficking, smuggling and illegal resource extraction pose ongoing threats to our maritime domain. Now, as we debate international commitments to marine conservation, we must also ask whether Papua New Guinea currently possesses the practical capacity required to protect the marine environment we seek to conserve. Do we have sufficient patrol vessels? Do we have adequate aerial surveillance? Do we possess the satellite monitoring systems required to effectively monitor our maritime boundaries? Do our agencies have the legislative powers, resources, personnel and equipment necessary to enforce our laws? These questions are fundamental. Protecting biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction should never distract us from protecting biodiversity and resources within our own waters. Mr. Speaker, if Papua New Guinea is serious about marine conservation, then we must invest in modern maritime surveillance systems, enhanced satellite and aerial monitoring capabilities, additional patrol vessels and operational resources, greater coordination between defense, police, customs, fisheries, and provincial authorities, stronger maritime legislation, tougher penalties for illegal fishing and other maritime offences, improved intelligence gathering and maritime enforcement capabilities. The reality is that those who engage in illegal activities at sea are often far better equipped than those who are tasked with stopping them. That situation must change. A nation cannot effectively protect what it cannot see, nor can it conserve what it cannot enforce. Mr. Assistant Speaker, while international cooperation is important, Papua New Guinea must ensure that participation in international agreements never compromises our sovereign rights over our marine resources and our maritime jurisdiction. Conservation and sovereignty must go hand in hand. Papua New Guinea must retain full authority to determine how our resources within areas under our jurisdiction are managed, protected, and utilized. We must never find ourselves in a position where foreign entities possess greater knowledge of, access to, or influence over our marine resources than Papua New Guineans themselves. Do you know, Mr. Assistant Speaker, that not a single fishing vessel in this country is owned by a Papua New Guinean, as far as I know? If you went to, say, for Israel, for example, Israel, and they had similar resources, there would not be a single fishing vessel there that would be foreign-owned. They would all be Israeli vessels. I guarantee it. It would be the same, say, for instance, in Singapore, in China, Philippines. But here, we are virtually throwing it at investors. Many of these investors, we aren't even verifying their backgrounds to determine whether they have the wherewithal or whether they're genuine investors, whether they actually care about us. Many of them are just no different to pirates, modern-day pirates, but we are letting them come in here. Mr. Speaker, the first responsibility of this Parliament is to safeguard the interests of our people, to protect the national interest. Future generations will not judge us by how many tons of minerals we extracted from the seabed. They will judge us by whether we protected the oceans that sustain life itself. The sea is more than just a resource. It is the foundation of livelihoods, food security, culture, biodiversity, and national prosperity. As Parliament considers this agreement, let us ensure that Papua New Guinea stands firmly for marine conservation, scientific integrity, national sovereignty, and the protection of our coastal communities. Let's support the protection of marine biodiversity. Let us exercise caution regarding deep-sea mining. Let us say, let's stop it, let's not allow this until such time as we have the data, the information, when the scientists agree that it can be done, that its impact will not be so significant on our people. And let us strengthen our capacity to monitor and defend our waters. Let us ensure that conservation is matched by the laws, institutions, technology, and enforcement capability necessary to make that conservation meaningful. For conservation without enforcement is merely a promise. But conservation backed by sovereignty, science, and effective enforcement becomes a lasting legacy for future generations of Papua New Guineans. Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
Minister for Environment and Conservation.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, I stand here today in this Parliament in support of this agreement on the marine biological diversity of areas beyond national jurisdiction, commonly known as BBNJ agreement. This BBNJ agreement is a historic UN treaty designed to protect the ICs. The ICs cover around half of the Earth's surface and 2/3 of the entire ocean. They are parts of the ocean beyond national areas of influence and national laws, places that belong to everyone or no one. Until now, there were no universal environmental rules for protecting these ICs. Mr. Assistant Speaker, the ICs are also international waters located beyond the 200 nautical miles limit of any nation's exclusive economic zone. Closest to Papua New Guinea's EEZ, these pockets of international waters are highly regulated, primarily because of the crucial migratory corridors and habitats of the world's most valuable tuna stocks. This treaty is important to PNG because we share maritime borders with Indonesia, Palau, Federated State of Micronesia, and the Solomon Islands, who also have access to the same marine resources, especially valuable tuna stocks. The most prominent ICS zone in our vicinity is the ICS Pocket 1. It is a triangular area of international waters completely surrounded by the EEZs of Indonesia, Federated State of Micronesia, Palau, and Papua New Guinea because of the tuna stock. And further east, we have the eastern ICS pockets bordering the Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, and Fiji. Mr. Assistant Speaker, these marine ecosystems have historically lacked robust, centralized environmental protection. The BBNJ agreement will close this critical governance gap and is widely considered essential for the international community to meet its goals of protecting at least 30% of the world's oceans by 2030, as required by the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework under the Convention on Biological Diversity. Last month, PNG hosted the inaugural Melanesian Ocean Summit here in Port Moresby. This summit brought marine scientists, economists, financiers, philanthropists to discuss marine protection and how we can all work together to achieve the 30 by 30 in 2030, and also sustainably develop our oceans together. This BBNJ agreement will provide a platform for Melanesian countries and other adjacent countries to collectively have centralized environmental protection framework that we can all use and share resources and benefit directly from the four objectives of the treaty. The BBNJ treaty complements the National Protected Areas Policy and the National Oceans Policy, including the oceans and marine-related sectoral policies and framework, as well as the Pacific Regional 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific continent. Following 2 decades of negotiations, the agreement finally entered into force on January 17, 2026. It is established as the first global, legally binding framework to conserve marine life across nearly 2/3 of the world's ocean. It marks a huge victory for marine conservation globally. This agreement is key to providing greater protection for the ICs. Mr. Assistant Speaker, the new BBNJ agreement lays down, for the first time, general nature conservation and environmental protection regulation under the UN Convention on the Law of the Seas, or UNCLOS, until now. UNCLOS primarily regulated human economic activities on the ICs, such as shipping, research, etc. This BBNJ agreement sets out Rule 4, the establishment of marine protected areas with effective conservation measures. mandatory environmental impact assessment of human activities that have a significant impact on the IC's marine environment, handling samples of marine animals and plants on the IC's, and fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from utilization, support for the conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity for poorer countries in the Global South by means of capacity building and technology transfer. Mr. Speaker, Acting Speaker, the marine protected areas and environmental impact assessment are especially important for nature conservation and environmental protection. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.
Governor NCD.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker, for allowing me an opportunity to contribute to this important debate. But before I go into the debate, I want to firstly congratulate the Minister for Foreign Affairs for his leadership in that very important sector, maintaining a good diplomatic relationship at all levels, bilateral, multilateral, especially also at the United Nations. Secondly, I want to preface my contribution by reminding everyone that tomorrow, 5th of June, is World Environment Day. We have activities in the city, so I'm circulating an invitation to all honorable members. You all can come in the morning and join us. We'll be doing tree planting along the boulevard, and some other activities are also taking place in the city. Secondly, on Sunday, me and Minister for Fisheries are hosting for the first time, World Ocean Day. And so it's appropriate that we are having this discussion on the eve of these two events. Very important event that United Nations has marked to remind us of the importance of some of the things that we take for granted. And in this case, the ocean and the natural environment, especially on terrestrial land. Mr. Assistant Speaker and members of Parliament, what I want to contribute to this important debate is that remind us, I think most of the points that we need to be reminded, Governor Foro has eloquently raised them, so I don't want to repeat them. I just want to add on some points that perhaps is equally important, but with a limited time, he did not emphasize on it. And so in this case, firstly, I want to emphasize the importance of our two economies, the traditional economy and the cash economy or capitalist economy or whatever economy that we have taken our people into. Our people, we keep on reminding everybody that 80% of our people live in rural areas, both on the land and in the ocean, on atolls, island provinces, on the coast. And they rely largely on traditional economy, subsistence economy. And the core of that subsistence economy is the natural environment. And this is important, in this discussion that we remind ourselves, Assistant Speaker and members of Parliament, honorable leaders of our people. We are taking our people on a journey where we are absolutely sure that, giving up our traditional economy, subsistence way of life, and going into a cash economy, introducing money into the system, will absolutely sustain the life of our people, or will it result in a lot of our people missing out? And that's the question that we must keep on reminding ourselves as we engage in this type of debate, looking at the bigger picture and the journey of our people. I believe everybody will agree that without the traditional economy, we will be really struggling. Here in Parliament, we keep on asking, employment. And that issue, Mr. Assistant Speaker, has become a core issue when we start thinking about taking our people into the cash economy, into the capitalist economy. As we all know, that this capitalist system is based on saving mainly only a few who can get the benefits of enriching themselves or exploitation of our resources, or distributing it and waiting for the system called trickle down. It's not proven itself anywhere in the world. And this is what we need to also balance how we are managing our economy and how we are, distributing wealth and how we are looking after all our people. So this important convention that the Minister is brought to us to ratify in this Parliament, it's very important to remind us of this, equation that we must remember all the time as we continue to integrate our people into the global economy. So that's the, Mr. Speaker, main point I want to emphasize, to adding on to all the very good points that Governor Oro has raised for us. Let us make sure that these two economy, the traditional economy, subsistence economy, whatever we want to call it, and the cash economy, they both survive and they are able to sustain our people. But what I want to remind ourselves now is that the traditional economy has proven itself. It's been there since time immemorial. It's been able to sustain all our ancestors, thousands of generations. It might not be ideal, but it was able to look after our people. It's a proven system. Now we are trying to introduce all this cash economy, integrate into the global economy, global system coming on, global ideas, foreign ideas too, different type of values too. And we seem to be trying to erase our culture and our tradition and our system. We must be careful. I want to caution all of us. Here in the city, you all can see it for yourself. It's shockingly clear. Look at all our people here, our indigenous people. We brought this city, and the city has served our people and our country. But look at the price that our people are paying. They've lost everything. They cannot garden or farm or go hunting or go fishing. You don't need to go far. And how are we going to, provide or give a better quality of life to our people in this type of situation here in urban areas like Port Moresby, and maybe in Lae too, and Mount Again and Goroka? So as we integrate our country into the global economy, we must have this caution. And we must never erase our traditional system and believe in economy that is wet. We can't integrate all our people into the cash economy for sure, Mr. Assistant Speaker. You know what work in law get a line here. Business too, you may not say. But gardening and fishing and making canoes and, looking after pigs and poultry and it has worked and it will continue to work. So Wambla reminded me like Gimlo Yumilo today. Another point, just to add on to what Governor Oro's mentioned, I want to remind all of us too that the ocean, we seek to ratify this agreement now. It's very important for coastal people, very important for our country too, very important globally too. If Mr. Assistant Speaker, 50 to 80% of the oxygen there is developed from the ocean. You may promote him DIY stuff. All the rainforest, yes, we can give credit, but we must never ignore the fact that 50 to 80% of the oxygen that is produced to look after life comes from the sea. You got algae, bacteria established solwaraya. It produces oxygen. And that's why there is all the more reason why we have to take all the action that we need to take together with the global community to protect the ocean, protect the sea. And the sea and the ocean is under threat. Temperature will rise, Mr. Speaker. Coral bleaching is happening. Overfishing too is taking place. Minister Blong, Environment and Tokyo, 25% of the tuna stock in the world is here found in our sea and ocean. Huh? Mr. Speaker, me, I'm originally from that area, from the middle of the Bismarck Sea. You too, Ablo Yulong, Bogia too, you sabe. In time past, during a month of March or April, and tuna season here, you go out, that's all, you can catch about 100 or 200 in 1 hour. Now you go and try to do it again. Minister of Fisheries, you must talk him online, you go check him this time. You may go promote him, our seas and ocean as an area in which we have high stock of tuna, but it's depleting very fast. It is depleting. And so commercial fishing too is threatening life of coastal people, atolls people, ocean people. We must think about that too. Coral bleaching too, Mr. Assistant Speaker. The reef, you may establish this coral sea triangle, huh? And I mean, so not coral sea, but coral reefs. Now, the reefs too is equally important for us to protect. Because it's, Mr. Speaker, it's a big carbon sink. You know, the White Solemn carbon sink. The reef is also a major carbon sink. In fact, it's sink more carbon than the trees. The coral grows on carbon. Without carbon, coral will not grow. And without coral, no got sea and no got marine life. And without all these fish and so on, tuna ya you blood to contributing to our economy. And by no got too. And on this point, Mr. Assistant Speaker, me like raise him about, this tuna stock na kind of some too. Prime Minister and Minister of Fisheries, why you me talk now about royalty, equity, blow all oil and gas, resource, and they deserve it. But online, lo solwara, this tuna is being harvested in their traditional land, or traditional sea, or reefs, where they go and, sustain themselves like their ancestors. But only succeed royalty. No. Can we put this into the equation? So think about the country. This country, one of the fundamentals of this country is equal distribution of wealth. Our founding fathers and leaders, one of the reasons they agreed to come together to create this country called Papua New Guinea is that they agreed that we will look after each other. We'll be there for each other. You gado, you no gado, you bike sim. We must not forget this. Because now you may all think long, bougainville or like Lucy Mumia. Maybe we did not cater for everybody or look after everybody or make everybody feel sense of belonging to this union called Papua New Guinea. So me like just emphasizing this point, thinking about seizing this opportunity about this convention to protect the biodiversity of, and conservation of marine biological diversity in areas. So many points we can raise, but what is important, we must take action to, protect the marine biodiversity. And I want to commend the Minister for Fisheries for hosting the Melanesian Ocean Leaders Forum. It's the first time to have such a forum, and it is a great success. Great success. It is well attended. Prime Minister, commendation to you too. You reach out to your colleagues, not just in Melanesia, but to Polynesia, and even President Timor-Leste to come. It was a very great event, and highlighted and put on national agenda this particular, need for us to take action to protect our marine life and support the people who rely on the ocean and the sea. I want to commend the Minister too for declaring, this area of Western Manus to be a marine conservation area. I think that's an important step that has been announced, and it needs government support. We need a lot of support to, really make that project becomes real, to protect the marine life so that we can restock. Because all fish, the marine species, they don't stay in one particular area, all the species. Some of them, they migrate, they go come. So when we protect one area, it can go on to support other areas as well. I think Mr. Assistant Speaker, Pandi Tok, me can talk, but all some members too like talk. So concluding discussion for me, contribution for me today, me like just reminding me about the global situation now. All this agreement you may work sign here. You may must, Minister, I think we are happy with you. Always maintaining our bilateral and multilateral relationship, our standing in the United Nations too, but in this global situation now, the big powerful countries, they think they own this world. They think that this world belongs to them only. And whatever they want to get, they will get it without us. Are we part of this world or not? They can just go and declare this place to be, this island to be, belongs to them. Take over this country, change the government of this country. There's no respect anymore in this global order. How are we part of this humanity? Is the global order equal for everyone or just belong to the powerful? So you may sign him this agreement, we can ratify it, but it might be worthless. Whatever they want, they will come here and take over. Take over our resources, take over our sea, change the political leadership. We have to raise this concern. And we are quiet, too quiet. We are not raising our voice adequately to raise this concern. We are not a big power. We don't have big military might. We are no match for these big, powerful economies, using their military might and economic power to dominate, suppress, and dictate. So what's the use of this agreement that we are going to sign? We must seriously think about this and push for a world order that is mutual, that we have a stake in it, that the leader of government business talk, we have to be in the table. But this table now is dictated by the mighty and the powerful. So where are we in this equation? You mean sign him, nothing. United Nations now is like a piece of paper, nothing. Nobody respects it. So when it comes global order now, you may go along in now. You may think, you may yet look out in what we can. You may enter into kind agreement to get caught up in this geopolitics, go come. This geopolitics, yeah, you thinking, some countries you may associate with them all, yeah. Only got interest long, share with them, you mean, mutually develop our people. They just want to take advantage and oppress us and suppress us and dictate to us. And we have to be cautious about this too. And that's all me like talk Saulo Yumi. Mr. Speaker, me talk to hard league because let's try to work towards a better world, a mutual world, a world where we all have a stake and we all work together for the benefit of humanity. And that's all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member Faba. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I want to contribute to this important debate and commend the Minister for Foreign Affairs for asking the Honorable Parliament to ratify this UN BBNJ matter. But I want to be the devil's advocate this afternoon, because I think the two honorable governors, Governor for Oro and Governor for NCD, have argued right, but they disoriented a little bit. And I want to make this point, the way I'm reading this pact, BBNJ context. I think it's asking for marine protected areas, conservation to protect the ocean, MPAs they call them. However, if you look at the MPAs under the context of this paper that the foreign minister has presented and our tuna issue, which the governor for NCD has just set down, my understanding is, and our risk as a country with regards to us ratifying this one is 4 out of 5 tuna stock swim through these high seas beyond our jurisdiction. And this BBNJ, in its effort to declare marine protected areas, it's like creating a park where you no can cut him diwai. You no can go walk. Like the governor for Oro, you no can go deep sea mining. But the studies on deep sea mining, the genealogy, the scientific knowledge, those studies done cannot benefit us because MBI come underneath law, display legislation law, UN. And so while we are fighting for conservation, I think we are also going to deny ourselves if we don't have a say in this area at the big tables that big countries in the UN sit down. That's my strong argument, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Because they will declare these marine protected areas, and according to the information that we know, if the UN finally makes the high seas an area of a marine protected area which will be no fishing zone, then our boats and foreign boats paying PNG excess, we earn about 600 million a year. I think we're going to lose that under this legislation. So, Minister for Fisheries, Minister for Environmental Conservation, Climate Change, Foreign Minister, have you looked at these details? I'm raising the issue because these are part of this marine protected area that UN want to take charge of. We know that big countries contribute to the UN and they have a bigger say. But, you know, this one I don't think is going to protect us. We've been looking after the oceans for thousands of years, and we've also been benefiting from this. 4 out of 5 tuna stocks coming from these high seas. And then when they block it as a marine protected area, we're going to lose access. Isn't this the argument that is valid? Are we rushing too fast? That's a question I want to pose. Have we got our experts to look at this? And you're asking the Parliament to ratify this? Be careful. Second point, and I'll sit down. I think this issue of capacity, if we ratify this international law, I call it, the UN will expect us to do monitoring. That means we need ships, we need laboratories, we need scientists to comply with the requirements. And so before we ratify, the UN must help us build this capacity in the country. Science laboratories must be built. We must have environmental experts. We must have the infrastructure to participate in monitoring this BBNJ concept legislation? Mr. Assistant Speaker, those are the two areas that I thought I'd highlight, because I think there is more than just being a member of the UN and trying to ratify this thing on the floor of Parliament, but the implications to me worry the implications here. Has somebody looked at it? And I want to hear one of you ministers talk about this, rather than ask the Parliament to come and ratify it. You need 60 members of Parliament to ratify it. But before we do, can you address the questions that I have asked? Thank you, Deputy Assistant Speaker.
Member for Kundiawa Gebog.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Long giving me opportunity to debate. This is a very important ratification. This paper when Minister of Foreign Affairs Karam Committee. But before I do, thank you, Foreign Affairs Minister, to bring this very important paper to Parliament for us to ratify. I would also like to thank our Honorable Prime Minister, who's been the only Prime Minister that I've seen who's been advocating for conservation and protection of our terrestrial and marine environment, both domestically and regionally, and he has represented us well in global forums, advocating for the resource that we have in this country. Thank you, Prime Minister. I would also, before I proceed, I'd also like to clarify on the paper here, which Sepuka raised issue on. The ratification of the BBNJ that we're trying to ratify in Parliament, it's beyond our exclusive economic zone. And the fishing access to tuna stock that he's referring to is regulated by the National Fisheries Authority, which Papua New Guinea is a signatory to the Nauru parties to the agreement, and it has its own regime that NFA administers. And to do with fishing, it has nothing to do with marine conservation. Marine fishing under our regime, it has to, we practice sustainable fishing, and it is regulated by, it's a regional resource that's regulated regionally and administered domestically by National Fisheries Authority. I have one important point to discuss, especially when we talk about the conservation of biodiversity in this country. Under the Conservation Biodiversity Convention that Papua New Guinea signed up in 1992, we are obligated to protect and conserve our terrestrial landmass as well as our marine environment and biodiversity. And then we also have regional targets. And one of the key critical regional convention that the region signed up to is called the Achai targets. And by 2030, under this target, by 2030, we're supposed to conserve 30% of our marine environment and then 30% of our terrestrial environment by 2030. But our performance so far, since the Achai target was signed up by us, our performance has been very dismal. Terrestrially, so far, we have conserved less than 3% from all our national protected areas that we have in this country. Only 3%. And we have yet to go. And 2030 is about 4 years away. Marine conservation, we've only conserved less than 1%. 1%, less than 1%. The fundamental reason being that annually when we appropriate national budgets for conservation, we don't. We only give 5 million, 6 million to the Conservation Protection Authority. What do they do with this? We have landowners out there who are going out there, bringing loggers. We also want mining to happen in our country. And then now we are advancing into deep sea mining. And then you just look down at Taroma. Development. All the mangroves are cut down. And you know why mangroves are very important? They are the breeding ground for tuna stock. And PNG is the last frontier. Last frontier of being home to the breeding ground for tuna globally. You see the Papuan coastline, which stretches about 17,000 square kilometers, and has more than 46 different species of mangrove. So simple mangrove all tunas are drink. So that's why when they want to breed, they come and breed here. That's why we have Tuna Bay. But we are not making efforts locally to preserve our marine environment, which exposes our coastal livelihood. You know, coastal fishing is about more than $1 billion kina industry. More than $1 billion kina industry. And how can we preserve that? Like Governor Jaffa has been saying, we need to promote coastal ecotourism, you know, conservation of those mangroves, because life in the marine environment depends on marine conservation. So, one, I want to get to the point, stress the point. I've seen recently that the central bank is talking about green finance bank, or green financing. And I don't know the details, but the objective is to establish a green finance fund. So they can finance conservation efforts or other green investments in the country. And I'm sure that conservation should be one of those very important investment endeavor that should be captured in the trust fund. We have all those funding out there from Green Growth Global Fund and UN and the EU. They want to put in money. Every time we go out there and we ask them for money. But you look at Fiji. Fiji has done much, much better. They're already having access to international finance. Maybe we need to learn from them. And I think the case for our country is probably different. Different in the sense that those international financiers, they don't probably trust our setup in terms of accountability, projected standards and transparency, how we expend those funds. I think it's primarily to do with our public service machinery. They don't want to give money to our public servants so they can manage the funds. But I think government needs to work very closely with what the central bank is doing. So we advocate for international financing to come through the central bank and to be managed by an independent trust fund manager, so we can be able to finance our marine conservation project, especially the archipelagic waters within our country and our terrestrial conservation. We have national parks and we have community conservation areas. These are a network of conservation groups that we have. And we can, for as long as we can secure those finance and manage to credible fund manager, and we have that the money flows through those people, genuine people and landowners who are participating, who are taking part in conservation, I think we should be able to access those international finance. But otherwise, we will be keeping going around in circles. And other countries in the Pacific. You know, you go to Cook Islands, you only count only a few coconuts there. They don't have the biodiversity that we have. But we're not making effort. So we need to seriously look at establishing the trust fund and give some credibility to it. So we give opportunity to our landowners to participate in conservation, which is a $1 trillion industry. We are custodians of a global commodity, which surpasses the value of gold and oil and all the resources that we talk about every time we talk about in this floor. But that's one important point that I'd like to stress that we should think about. Our Minister for Environment and Foreign Affairs Minister, our good Prime Minister, let's try to talk to the Central Bank, what they're doing. We should put some safeguards around the trust fund that they try to establish. And we go out there, go to the international financiers, bring those international finance through the Central Bank to be managed by independent trust fund. Because we have, those multinational companies here, forestry, the government cannot afford to compete, put our finance to match what the industry and the others are competing interests putting. And also, we must also recognize the fact that our population is growing, so it puts so much pressure on the extraction and use of our resources. That's one point I'd like to stress. The other point I want to make is that, we passed many conventions and laws on the floor, but it's about how we go about domesticating those regional and international conventions and implementing it in the country. We must try to meet the objectives of the convention and whatever we signed up to, but at the same time, we must also promote opportunities for businesses, promote development aspirations in our country. One of the one of the things that I witnessed is the Papua New Guinea is a signatory to the Basel Convention, which administers the movement of boundary movement of waste across out our EEZ into international waters and to other countries. We have, which is good for the environment, but one of the issues we have is when SIPA is administering it, we only have one exporter in this country. Why? Why are we having one exporter? Why is one exporter called Achiko being the sole exporter of waste oil in this country to Singapore and other countries? We have more than 12 exporters in the country who are SMEs, were able to meet environmental safeguards were permitted. Yeah. So while signing up to those conventions, we are also stifling growth and promoting opportunities for our locals. And that's also something that we must be cognizant of when we administer those conventions and laws through our agencies. We also have refineries in country who can refine waste oil. But we have restrictions that any waste producer must only keep on site 100,000 liters at any one point in time. And then you've got to export it through that one exporter. There's no fairness. We're not promoting opportunities for our locals. So it's just my appeal that when we administer such international conventions and domesticating it and implementing it locally, while achieving the objectives of those conventions, we must also not stifle growth and create opportunities for our locals. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Member for Kirewin, good enough.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Me too, me like participate in this debate on the BBNJ agreement. Mr. Speaker, the BBNJ agreement, some come coastal areas, and we see that it is very important that PNG rectifies this agreement for the sake of our country. And I will try my best not to repeat the eloquent speech debate by the Governor for Oro and the debate by the Governor of NCD. But, Mr. Speaker, the BBNJ agreement that we are debating on today is not a new agreement, Mr. Speaker. It was adopted in 1982 in Motengo, Jamaica, and came into force in 1994. PNG signed on the 10th of December 1982 and rectified it on the 14th January 1997. So it's legally binding for PNG. Here we are, Mr. Speaker, discussing and participating in this debate today. The UN clause, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Seas, also called the Constitution for the Oceans, Mr. Speaker, is the main international treaty that sets the rules for everything in the ocean. Mr. Speaker, fisheries, 90% of the tuna as we had is caught in our EEZ. And the UN clause also let us license foreign vessels or boats and we collect revenues from. And so, Mr. Speaker, today as I stand to participate in this debate, it brings me to the sense that Yupla Sampla stop on Taplo Mountain, you understanding the importance of Sowara, its importance in human development or human goodness, low coastal areas. There's about more than 5,000 kilometers of coastal line in our country. And for us to stand here and talk about the importance of protection of our sovereign nation, there are two things that come into mind, Mr. Speaker. All foreigners, like invading country, blame me. They come through the air. And we must have tougher laws to protect that, our boundaries and our borders. And the other way, law come inside the country, blame me, and law Sowara blame me. Now, the high seas law that is set before us today, let's simply put it and think of it this way. If the land laws are a constitution, UN clause is the constitution for the ocean. It tells PNG what part of the sea we own and what we can do and what foreigners can do. With the current laws you got, you don't have to go far to see the vessels anchored in Milimbe waters. When you travel, and I thank the Prime Minister when he went down there during the disaster, when you travel from the waters of Missima all the way down to Rosal and Sudest, you see a lot of vessels parked out there on these islands. And what are they doing there? Yachts in their hundreds come in and go out each day. You get down to the islands of Kitawa, Gawa, in the Milimbe province, Simsimla. You find a lot of vessels just coming and going out at will. And we have no monitoring measures in place to get out there and police the waters that we have. And they come in. Why do they come in? In recent findings, out at Buriburi Island, someone went out there and saw a stream, tide, He tried to follow that stream and pull ashore. When he got out there, dug the soil, it was filled with drugs. It was filled with drugs. And the people on the island decided to pick up all that stuff and relocate them somewhere else before a ship came in looking for the very product that they were there for. And so we've been used by drug cartels. We've been used by international criminals to come and do whatever they want to do on our land. Also, let me talk. Suppose you may protect him air blaming. If we protect the borders out there, what about protecting the seas? We have neglected that for too long, Mr. Speaker. We have neglected our seas for too long. We have allowed our seas to be exploited by hungry foreigners and cartels out there. Today, when you get to the islands of the Kiriwinas, to the islands of Woodlarks, you find big clamshells about a meter wide, all empty. People come down with their vessels, dig up whatever they want, and they leave. Mr. Speaker, it gives us the greatest opportunity today to support this bill, and I thank the Minister for bringing this bill forward for us to debate. You get down to the islands, some of you just go down to Ella Beach and come. But when you get to the outer islands, the smaller islands, littering on the islands is unbelievable. Plastics have dominated corals and shells on our beach fronts. Products that cannot disappear overnight are appearing everywhere on the islands. Marine lives are affected. Strings are thrown. Nets are thrown, disposed by fishing vessels, international fishing vessels, that are suffocating our marine birds and animals out there. When you look at the turtles. And so, Mr. Speaker, today, as I stand, as a member and a leader from a coastal province, a maritime province, and a district, Mr. Speaker, I see the importance of this bill. And like I said, Mr. Speaker, it is not something new to this country. We must support this bill. Mr. Speaker, our oceans have been used as dumping grounds for too long. Our oceans have been used as dumping grounds for too long. And we must stop the dumping of materials by international vessels that coming into our waters. Plenty of time people travel by dinghy, by boats, and as we are crossing from island to island, we see these bags floating out at sea. Na mibla tino sem sampla gupla something stuff inside. Mibla go open and pull up one time waste from vessels coming in, overseas vessels coming into our waters. And so, Mr. Speaker, it is important that we participate in this law, the High Seas law, because it will bring benefit to our coastal areas. Mr. Speaker, I play something like Dr. Clem, erosion. Erosion. A lot of these vessels, they just run through our waters, or some Jomat Passage. They run through. They create a lot of sand erosion, soil erosion, and nobody takes stock of what's happening. We must make certain that those vessels that are used in our waters must pay for the usage of our waters. They cannot just come by, run through, make millions of dollars, and they don't care about the small people out there on the islands who rely on the reefs, who rely on the seas for their daily upkeeps. Mr. Speaker, I do agree totally with the Governor for NCD. Plenty time, all big nations, all using me for their own benefit. It's about time we speak up and speak out and tell them that you like using resource blah, blah, you like using country blah, blah, you like using waters blah, blah, you must pay for it. Because the AI generation have already arrived. But you get down to the coastal areas, you get down to the remote areas, people do not know anything about AI. They don't even care. What they care about is how do they survive every day. And so, Mr. Speaker, Tete Milek Sanap na supporting this bill. I support it for one reason. And that is, my people depend on the oceans for their survival. Now, suppose you mean to protect them, oceans blame me. Or people blame me by some time too. I do hear some good debates today. Na Governor NCD's workload tok lo tuna royalties for Mipla or people below coastal areas, like the logging royalties. Time you cut him log, all people kiss him royalties too. Time you rouse him tuna too, all people must kiss him royalties as well. Because the breeding grounds are where we live. Just yesterday, the member for Karukuhiri put a petition here, or Hiri Koyari, and put a petition here, blow people blame. You mean use him ground blow, or must kiss him pay, or must kiss him loyalty blow. And I do support my brother from Papua, leader of Papua, local blame, law people blame. Mr. Speaker, likewise, the waters of Milne Bay, the waters of Kiriwina are good enough, the waters of Misima, Samarai Murua, the waters of Alatau, all the way down to Manus, are used by the very vessels that leave the wharf that the member for Karuku, Hiri Koyari, was talking about yesterday. Or kissing royalty, blow LNG come, lo area blow, now likewise, all resource owners. But the same vessels, Mr. Speaker, that carry the LNG and the oil run through the waters of Milne Bay province as well. Suppose when something happened, now spill him oil or spill him LNG. Now barabim wara blumpla. Blumpla kisim money way. Lo supporting more people blumpla. You get the royalties for the pipeline coming through. Mipla too, I think, must benefit with the royalties that run through our waters when they carry the LNG and the oils. That's a big plus something, Mr. Speaker. We must talk awesome. As Papua New Guineans, we must unite as one. We must share the benefits of what we earn in this country equally to everyone, every citizen of this nation. Mr. Speaker, this bill today, me at me sanap, me like support him because me pili mosam, and by protecting high seas blame me, Sawara blame me, at the same time, it gives us the opportunity to protect him, all island blame me, protect him, biodiversity blame me, marine biodiversity blame me, and at the same time, it gives our people the greatest opportunity, knowing that we are protected, that we can go out fishing and we can come back safely onto land. Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to thank the Minister, Honorable Justin Techenko, for this bill, and I congratulate you. This is not the first time you brought such a paper to this House. Plenty of time you carry more paper come. Is for the benefit of this nation. I congratulate you. I congratulate the Prime Minister and the government as well for your insight in bringing this paper. You may protect him ground plenty time, forest plenty time. It's about time we protect the Sawara as well for the benefit of our coastal and marine people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, the question be put. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move a motion without notice.
Is leave granted? Mr. Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, I move that, in accordance with Section 1175A of the Constitution, this Parliament waivers Section 1173 of the Constitution, which requires a treaty document to be presented to Parliament for at least 10 sitting days before Papua New Guinea can bound as a party, insofar as the provision applies to the ratification of an agreement under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, on the conservation and sustainable use of marine biological diversity in areas beyond national jurisdiction, BBNJ.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. The motion must be supported by an absolute majority of 60 members. Would those in favour of the motion please stand? Where is it? Honourable members, resume your seat. We have absolute majority, so the motion has been carried. Leader of Government Business. What's your point of order?
Such that proceedings be recorded. Which member of Parliament voted for this, which is not voted? And you cannot count on by just picking up and we don't know who voted.
Honourable Minister, you may resume your seat. Your point of order is out of order, and as it is not a constitutional requirement. The motion just requires absolute majority, more than 60 members, and we have reached that. So the motion is carried through. Leader of Government Business. Minister for Works and Highways, papers.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to the statutes, I present the 2025 Annual Performance Report of the Department of Works and Highways in accordance with the requirements of the Connect PNG Implementation and Funding Arrangements Act on the implementation of Connect PNG program and the performance of the national road sector. As the Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to make a statement in connection with the report.
Is leave granted? Make your speech.
As the Speaker, I rise today to present in this Honourable House the 2025 Annual Performance Report of the Department of Works and Highways. This report provides a comprehensive account of the Department's operational financial program performance during 2025 financial year. It covers a full scope of the Department's mandate, including the implementation of the Government's premier infrastructure development priority, namely the Connect PNG program, as well as national road network activities, bridge development, sub-national road support, building industry reforms, and institutional strengthening initiatives. As the Speaker, in addition to serving as the Department's annual performance report, this document also fulfills reporting requirements under Section 11(1) of Connect PNG, the Implementation and Funding Arrangements Act of 2021, which requires the Minister to report annually to the Parliament on the funding and implementation status of Connect PNG program, as the Speaker. The tabling of this report reflects government's ongoing commitment to transparency, accountability, and the responsible management of public resources. It ensures that this Honourable House is fully informed of the process achieved across national and sub-national road networks, the national performance and funding sources supporting infrastructure delivery, the implementation status of Connect PNG Phase 1, and the challenges encountered and the corrective measures being undertaken to sustain delivery momentum. As the Speaker, the 2025 Annual Performance Report demonstrates that the scale and significance of the work undertaken by the Department of Works and Highways in advancing national connectivity, improving road conditions, and strengthening bridge infrastructure and supporting Papua New Guinea broader economic and social development agenda. The achievement outlined in this report reflects the government's continued commitment to building a safe, reliable, and resilient transport network that connects communities, facilitates economic activity, improves access to essential services, and contributes to inclusive national development. As the Speaker, the development, maintenance, and preservation of our national roads and bridges network remain fundamental to economic growth and effective service delivery in PNG. Our country's geography is rugged, our communities are widely dispersed, and much of our economic potential in agriculture, mining, petroleum, fisheries, forestry, and tourism is located far from ports, processing centers, and urban markets. Without reliable transport infrastructure, that potential cannot be fully realized. It is within this context that the Department of Works and Highways continues to discharge its mandate plan to construct, rehabilitate, maintain, and regulate the national road network and associated bridge infrastructure while providing policy oversight for the broader land transport and building sectors. As the Speaker, the Connect PNG program remains government's premier infrastructure development initiative. It represents the most ambitious road sector reform and expansion program in our nation's history. Through its phased implementation, the program seeks to connect isolated regions, establish new economic corridors, complete critical missing links, and strengthen strategic highways across our country. As the program continues to mature, it has become increasingly evident that infrastructure expansion must be balanced with sustainability and the protection of assets already delivered. Over the recent years, significant sectors of the National Priority Economic Highway Network have been restored to good conditions. Bridges have been replaced, missing links have been opened, travel times have been reduced, and economic activity along transport corridors have increased. However, Mr. Speaker, infrastructure investment does not end with construction. The long-term value of these investments depend on effective maintenance and asset management. Without sustained maintenance, the gains achieved under Connect PNG may be undermined by climate-related impacts, heavy freight usage, and natural deterioration. Deferred maintenance inevitably results in higher life cycle costs, increased rehabilitation requirements, and greater fiscal pressures in the future. Accordingly, as Speaker, there is now a stronger strategic focus on preserving and maintaining the existing network through enhanced maintenance programs, performance-based contracts, improved asset management systems, and closer coordination with provincial and district road authorities under the Road Management and Fund Act of 2020. This does not represent a shift away from development, rather it reflects the natural progression of maturing infrastructure program moving from rapid rehabilitation and expansion towards disciplined asset preservation, life cycle management, and long-term sustainability. Mr. Speaker, the Department performance during 2025 reflects two complementary national priorities. First, sustaining the momentum of Connect PNG Phase 1, and second, protecting and preserving the improved national road network through structured maintenance and asset management reforms. Both priorities are equally important, Mr. Speaker. Roads do more than connect places and support economic activity. They are long-term national assets that must be maintained and protected to continue delivering benefits to our people and our economy. The Phase 1 progress of our Connect PNG program. Mr. Speaker, I now turn to the progress of Phase 1 Connect PNG program, which covers the period of 2021 to 2027. The Phase 1 was designed to stabilize, rehabilitate, and upgrade the most critical sections of the National Priority Economic Highway Network, construct key missing link roads, strengthen bridge infrastructure, and improve sub-national connectivity throughout the country. The program targets the rehabilitation and upgrading of approximately 5,677 kilometers of national priority economic highways by 2027. Speaker, at the end of 2025 reporting year, out of the 5,677 kilometers, 4,736 kilometers of national priority economic highways has been improved to good conditions. This represents 82% of the Phase 1 target, and during the 2025 alone, 3,605.41 kilometers were confirmed as meeting improved condition standards. Mr. Speaker, these improvements have been achieved across key strategic corridors, including the Highlands Highway, the Momase Corridor, the Southern Region Highways, the New Britain Highway, and the Buluminski Highway. Mr. Speaker, these results represent a significant transformation of the national road network. Only a few years ago, less than 20% of the network was assessed to be in good condition. Today, major sections of our strategic highways are operating at improved service levels, facilitating freight movement, reducing travel times, and lowering vehicle operating costs. The construction of missing links remains a key component of Phase 1. The program targets the development of 633 kilometers of new roads to connect previously isolated regions and open up new economic corridors. Mr. Speaker, as at the end of 2025, from the 633 kilometers of new roads, 297.6 kilometers of missing link roads had been completed and were now in operation. This includes sections of the Transnational Highway, the Magi Highway, the Waugarayana Road, and other strategic corridor linkages designed to strengthen regional integration and support economic development. Mr. Speaker, notably, the progress has also been achieved in Muruguina, Gadaisu section of the Magi Highway, where major construction works are underway, including the development of permanent bridge infrastructure and an upgrading corridor to national highway standards. These investments will significantly improve accessibility, strengthen connectivity, and support growth across our southern region. Mr. Speaker, bridge infrastructure has also been a major focus on Phase 1 implementation. To date, 105 national bridges representing more than 5,000 meters of bridge infrastructure along key corridors including Highlands Highway, Momase Corridor, and the New Britain Corridor have been replaced or upgraded to modern climate resilient standards. And 65 sub-national bridges have been constructed or rehabilitated, covering more than 2,600 meters of bridge infrastructures across provincial and district road networks. The government continues to invest in bridge infrastructure because it is essential to economic growth, service delivery, and national connectivity. Among the notable projects currently underway are the Hawaiian River Steel Arch Bridge in East Sepik Province and the Woggle Bridge crossing near Divine Word University in Madang. These projects represent significant engineering achievement and demonstrate the government's commitment to modern, resilient infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, bridge improvements are particularly important because bridges are often the most vulnerable components of transport corridors. Their replacement and upgrading significantly improve safety, freight efficiency, and resilience during extreme weather events. At a sub-national level, more than 5,000 kilometers of provincial and district economic roads have been improved through partnerships with provincial governments and district development authorities under the road management performance agreements. While these achievements are substantial, Phase 1 is not yet complete. The period from 2026 to 2027 will be critical for consolidating progress, accelerating outstanding works, and protecting investments already made. The objective is not only to achieve the remaining Phase 1 targets, but also to ensure that completed infrastructure remains serviceable through effective asset management, structured maintenance programs, and sustained funding support. By balancing continued development with responsible asset preservation, the government aims to maximize the long-term economic and social benefits of Connect PNG program for all Papua New Guineans. Mr. Speaker, I now turn to the financial performance of the Department of Works and Highways for the year 2025 financial year, including the funding arrangements that support both the Connect PNG program and the department's broader network management responsibilities. For the reporting year, the department received a total budget of approximately 1.63 billion, comprising of the following: 126 million for recurrent expenditure, including personal emoluments and operational support, and 105.6 billion under the capital investment, which supports road rehabilitation and upgrading, bridge constructions, missing link development, network maintenance, and project preparation activities. The capital allocation represents approximately 5.5% of the total national budget and 14% of the national development budget, reflecting the importance of transport infrastructure within the government's development agenda. Mr. Speaker, beyond the annual budget allocation, the total value of the ongoing road and bridge contracts nationwide stands at approximately $4 billion. The financing composition of these commitments is as follows. Approximately 60% is funded directly through our government. Approximately 30% is financed through concessional loans and grants provided by development partners. And approximately 10% is supported through the Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme, primarily in partnership with the resource sector. This funding profile demonstrates while development partners and private sector stakeholders play an important supporting role, the primary responsibility for financing national transport infrastructure continues to rest with the government. During the reporting year, particularly emphasis was placed on strengthening financial discipline, improving cash flow management, and restoring contractor confidence. As part of this effort, approximately $148 million in outstanding contractors' areas were settled. A further $100 million has been allocated in the 2026 budget to continue reducing legacy liabilities. The reduction of areas has improved contractor liquidity, reduced financial exposure, and contributed to a greater stability in project delivery across the country. Mr. Speaker, the Department's financial performance also reflects an important evolution in sector priorities. While substantial resources continue to support rehabilitation and upgrading of roads under Connect PNG Phase 1, increasing emphasis is now being placed on protecting and sustaining assets already delivered. Accordingly, a growing portion of sector funding is being directed towards long-term performance-based contracts, bridge preservations and strengthening programs, emergency restoration and climate resilient works, and enhanced asset management systems and planning. Mr. Speaker, with more than 4,700 kilometers of national priority economic highways now restored to improve conditions, the focus must increasingly extend beyond construction to the long-term preservations of these investments. Without predictable and sustained maintenance funding, the sustainable investment made over recent years would deteriorate prematurely, resulting in higher reconstruction costs, renewed infrastructure backlogs, and increased fiscal pressure in the future. Mr. Speaker, it must be acknowledged that effectiveness of approved funding remains highly dependent on the timely release of warrants and counterpart funding. Even where Parliament has appropriate funds, delays in cash flow disbursements can affect contractor mobilization, procurement schedules, project sequencing, and overall cost efficiency. To address these challenges, the Department has strengthened its cash flow forecasting, lifecycle costing methodologies, and asset management systems to ensure that every kina invested delivers maximum long-term value. In summary, the Department's financial performance in 2025 demonstrates sustained investment in national connectivity and infrastructure development, continued commitment by government as the principal funding source for the sector, active management of areas and financial liabilities, and a strategic shift towards balancing infrastructure in expansion with long-term asset preservation. This balanced approach is essential to ensuring the successful completion of Connect PNG Phase 1 while safeguarding the substantial investment already made in the national road network. Mr. Speaker, given the scale of public investment in the road sector, governance, compliance, and accountability remain fundamental to the operations of the Department of Works and Highways. The Department operates within a robust and legal regulatory framework, including the Public Finance Management Act, the National Procurement Act of 2018, amended, the Connect PNG Implementation and Funding Arrangement Act of 2021, the Road Management and Fund Act of 2020, and all applicable financial instructions and Treasury regulations. All capital works procurement is undertaken in accordance with the National Procurement Act of 2018 and the procedures established by the National Procurement Commission. Mr. Speaker, the procurement process is rigorous and subject to multiple levels of scrutiny major contracts undergo. They go through technical evaluation, financial evaluation, due diligence assessment, review of the National Procurement Commission, and approved by NPC Board, and where required, endorsed by the National Executive Council. These processes are designed to ensure transparency, fairness, competition, and value for money in the expenditure of public funds. Financial accountability is equally rigorous. Every contractor payment claim is subject to a comprehensive verification process, including site verification and certification by supervising engineers, assessment of quantities and quality against contract specifications, internal financial compliance checks, certification by authorized departmental heads, verification by Department of Finance, and final process through the Bank of Papua New Guinea prior to payment. This multi-layered framework ensures that payments are made only for works that have been properly completed and certified in accordance with contractual requirements. Mr. Speaker, the Department has been audited by the Office of the Auditor General up to 2021 financial year. Audits for subsequent years are pending commencement, and the Department continues to cooperate fully with all audit requirements. The Department has also responded comprehensively to inquiries from the Ombudsman Commission relating to procurement, expenditure, and reporting practices. Detailed submissions have been provided to ensure that the oversight agencies are fully informed of the Department's compliance procedures and internal control mechanisms. In addition, the Department has strengthened its internal governance systems through enhanced fraud and corruption prevention measures, stronger financial management controls, updated procurement compliance frameworks, improved environmental and social safeguard monitoring, and enhanced documentation, record management, and reporting systems. Mr. Speaker, good governance is not merely an administrative requirement. It is essential to protecting public resource, maintaining public confidence, and ensuring that infrastructure investments deliver their intended outcomes. As the Connect PNG program continues to drive significant infrastructure development across the country, the Department remains committed to the highest standard of transparency, accountability, and legal compliance. Compliance is not viewed as a constraint, rather it is a safeguard that protects the integrity of public investment and strengthens public trust in government institutions. The Department will continue to uphold these principles in the execution of its mandate. Mr. Speaker, while significant progress has been achieved under the Connect PNG program and the Department's broader infrastructure mandate implementation has not been without challenges. Delivering large-scale infrastructure projects in Papua New Guinea requires operating within a complex environment characterized by geographical constraints, fiscal pressures, administrative requirements, and climate-related risks. I will now outline the key challenges encountered during the reporting period, together with measures being taken to address these challenges. Firstly, although Parliament appropriates funding annually, the timing of warrant releases can affect cash flow, project mobilization, and implementation schedules. Delays in disbursement impact procurement activities, material supply, and overall project delivery. In some instances, they've also contributed to accumulation of payment areas and slowed the progress of our works. To address these challenges, the Department has implemented several corrective measures, including strengthened cash flow forecasting aligned with annual work programs, improved coordination between Department of Works, the Department of Treasury, and Department of Finance, prioritization of areas reduction, including the settlement of approximately 148 million during the reporting year, and a more disciplined approach to project sequencing based on predictable funding availability. Mr. Speaker, the National Procurement Framework is designed to ensure transparency, accountability, and value for money. However, the complexity of multi-stage procurement processes can extend tender timelines, particularly for large-scale and externally financed projects. To improve efficiency while maintaining compliance, the Department has 1. Strengthened pre-procurement planning and project readiness, including the completion of detailed designs and supporting documentation prior to submission, enhanced technical evaluation capacity within the Department, and continued engagement with the National Procurement Commission to streamline documentation and approval processes. These measures are intended to reduce delays while preserving the integrity of the procurement system. Mr. Speaker, PNG road network is highly vulnerable to climate variability, including prolonged rainfall, flooding, landslides, and seismic activity. During the reporting year, several significant weather events required emergency restoration works and additionally requiring more funding support. Climate-related damages not only increase maintenance costs, but also accelerates the deterioration of critical infrastructure assets. In response, the Department has strengthened climate-resilient design standards for roads and bridges, expanded bridges replacement programs using modern engineering standards, incorporated river training slope stabilization, and improved drainage systems into rehabilitation projects, and we've increased emphasis on preventative maintenance to reduce long-term vulnerability. These measures are designed to improve network resilience and reduce the long-term cost associated with climate-related damages. Mr. Speaker, in certain project locations, law and order issues and community-related challenges have affected contractor productivity and project implementation schedules. Mr. Speaker, the Department continues to work closely with provincial administrators, law enforcement agencies, local leaders, and project stakeholders to strengthen community engagement, improve project awareness, and minimize disruption to construction activities. Mr. Speaker, like many large-scale national programs, Connect PNG Phase 1 has experienced funding pressure over recent years. While progress remains encouraging, sustained funding constraints could affect the ability to deliver the phase targets within the original implementation timeframe. Accordingly, the Department has adopted a disciplined prioritization framework focused specifically on completing critical transport corridors, protecting and preserving sections that have already been improved, sequencing new commitments in line with available resources, and avoiding contractual commitments that exceed predictable funding capacity. This approach ensures that available resources are directed towards projects that deliver the greatest economic and social benefits. Mr. Speaker, the Department's strategic response to these challenges is guided by 4 principles: balancing infrastructure expansion with long-term sustainability, protecting more than 4,700 kilometers of highways already improved. This is under Phase 1. And 3, accelerating priority works within available physical resources. And the 4th, maintaining strong governance and accountability and financial discipline. These challenges are significant, but they are manageable. They do not represent program failure. Rather, they reflect the scale and complexity of delivering transformational infrastructure across PNG. The department remains committed to disciplined implementation, prudent financial management, and sustained delivery momentum as it continues to advance the objectives of Connect PNG program. Mr. Speaker, the success of infrastructure investments should not be measured solely by the numbers of kilometres constructed or rehabilitated, but by the economic and social benefit it delivers to our people. The improvements achieved under Connect PNG and the department's broader road sector initiatives are already generating tangible outcomes across our country, strengthening economic activity, improving access to services, and enhancing the quality of life for many Papua New Guineans. Mr. Speaker, upgraded highways have significantly improved the efficiency of transport networks across major economic corridors. Freight movement between Lae, the Highlands region, the Momasa region, the Southern region, and New Guinea Islands region has become more reliable, predictable, and cost-effective. Improved road conditions have contributed to reduced vehicle cost, reduced vehicle operating cost, Speaker, lower fuel consumptions, reduced maintenance costs for transport operators, and safer and more efficient travel for road users. For farmers, small businesses, and rural communities, these improvements translate directly into better access to markets, lower transport costs, and increased economic opportunities. Mr. Speaker, road connectivity is unlocking productive potential of many previously isolated areas. Improved transport corridors are facilitating the movement of coffee from the Highlands region, cocoa and copra from the coastal provinces, fresh produce from rural districts, and equipment, materials, and freight associated with major resource projects. The development of Missing Link is connecting communities that were once isolated from key economic centres. Roads that previously terminated in inaccessible terrain are now linking districts to ports, airport services, and markets. This improved connectivity supports food security, Mr. Speaker, stimulates local enterprise, and encourages private sector investment and strengthens regional trade. Mr. Speaker, infrastructure development continues to generate employment opportunities and strengthen local industry participation. Road construction, bridge development, and maintenance activity directly employ thousands of Papua New Guineans in engineering, surveying, plant operations, project supervisions, and skilled and unskilled labor. In addition, local contractors are increasingly participating in both minor and major contract infrastructures. Skills development and technology transfers are occurring through on-the-job training and industry engagement, and women's participation in the sector continues to expand through targeted inclusion initiatives. Mr. Speaker, the economic benefits extend beyond the project site themselves, creating opportunities for local businesses, suppliers, transport operators, and service providers throughout the project corridors. Mr. Speaker, the replacement and upgrading of bridges have significantly improved safety and year-round accessibility for many communities that were previously vulnerable to seasonal isolations. Modern bridges infrastructures has reduced transport bottlenecks, improved freight efficiency, enhanced resilience during periods of heavy rainfall and flooding. For rural communities, these improvements provide more reliable access to health services, improve school attendance and educational access, faster emergency response and disaster relief capabilities, and reduce disruption to economic and social activities during adverse weather conditions. Mr. Speaker, the benefits of connectivity extend beyond economic outcomes. When districts are connected to provinces and provinces are connected to major urban centres and ports, opportunities become more accessible and national integration is strengthened. Infrastructure helps reduce isolation, promotes social inclusion, and creates a greater sense of participation in the national economy. It ensures that communities, regardless of their location, can access opportunities and services available elsewhere in the country. Mr. Speaker, the economic and social gains now being realized must be protected through effective asset management and sustained maintenance. Infrastructure is a long-term investment. Roads and bridges are properly maintained, which will continue to deliver benefits for decades, while neglected assets deteriorate rapidly and require significantly greater expenditure to restore. The Department's increased focus on preservation and maintenance is therefore essential to safeguarding the value of past investment and ensuring continued service delivery to our people. Mr. Speaker, the Connect PNG program is more than an infrastructure initiative. It is a program that improves productivity, expands access to opportunities, supports rural development, strengthens national integration, and promotes inclusive economic growth. It extends far beyond the transport sector and will continue to contribute to Papua New Guinea's development for long-term or long after the completion of Phase 1. As we look forward, Mr. Speaker, Phase 1 of Connect PNG program is scheduled to conclude in 2027. The period from 2026 to 2027 therefore represents a critical phase of implementation, focused not only on completing outstanding targets, but also on consolidating the sustainable gains already achieved. As at the end of 2025 reporting year, approximately 82% of the National Priority Economic Highway rehabilitation target has been achieved. The remaining works must now be delivered through a disciplined, strategic, results-driven approach. To guide the implementation over the next 2 years, the Department has identified 5 key priorities. The immediate priority is the completion of the remaining sectors required to achieve the Phase 1, which is a target of 5,677 kilometers of rehabilitated and upgraded highways. Priority attention will be given to strategic economic corridors, high-volume freight routes, and road sections where rehabilitation works are already underway. The objective is to ensure that corridor continuity, maximize economic returns, and avoid fragmented infrastructure investments. Bridge infrastructure remains one of the most critical and vulnerable components of the transport network. The Department will continue to accelerate bridge replacement and upgrading programs, particularly along corridors with high freight volumes and significant exposure to climate-related risks. Modern engineering standards and climate-resilient designs will continue to be adopted to improve safety, reliability, and long-term network resilience. Mr. Speaker, one of the Department's key strategic priorities over the coming years is the protection of infrastructure assets already delivered under Connect PNG. With more than 4,700 kilometers of highways now improved, preserving the condition of this asset is both an operational and physical imperative. Accordingly, the Department will expand long-term performance-based maintenance contracts, strengthen asset management systems and data collection, enhance network condition monitoring, prioritize preventative maintenance to minimize future rehabilitation costs. This approach will help safeguard investment while ensuring that road users continue to benefit from improved transport infrastructure. The successful completion of Phase 1 will depend on sound financial management and predictable funding flows. Key priorities will include timely warrant release, continued reduction of outstanding liabilities, disciplined project sequencing, and alignment of project commitments with available physical resources. The Department will continue to prioritize the completion of existing commitments before embarking on new obligations that may place pressure on future budgets. Mr. Speaker, infrastructure alone cannot deliver sustainable economic transformation. To maximize the benefits of improved connectivity, stronger collaboration is required across government with development partners, provincial administration, and the private sector. Accordingly, the department will continue to work closely with agriculture agencies, trade and investment institutions, provincial governments, resource sector partners, and service delivery agencies. Improved transport corridors must be supported by complementary investments that stimulate economic activity, create employment opportunities, and improve service delivery outcomes. Mr. Speaker, the next 2 years will be critical in determining the overall success of Phase 1 of Connect PNG program. The department remains confident through disciplined implementation, sound financial management, and sustained government support and effective collaboration across all levels of government, the Phase 1 target can be substantially achieved while ensuring the long-term sustainability of the national road network. The path forward is clear. Build strategically, complete priority investments, protect existing assets, and sustain long-term benefits for future generations. Mr. Speaker, the 2025 Annual Performance Report of the Department of Works and Highways reflects both significant progress and the responsible management of public resources. Over the years, PNG has witnessed substantial improvements across its national roads and bridge network. Strategic highways have been rehabilitated, critical missing links have been opened, bridges have been upgraded, and connectivity has been enhanced across many parts of the country. These achievements are contributing to economic growth, improving access to essential services, reducing transport costs, and strengthening national integration. At the same time, the department recognizes that infrastructure development must be supported by effective asset management and long-term sustainability. The true value of infrastructure investment lies not only in what is built today, but also in how these assets are maintained and preserved to serve the future generations. The Connect PNG program remains our government's flagship infrastructure initiative and a cornerstone of the nation's long-term development agenda. Supported by strengthened governance framework, sound financial management, and robust accountability measures, the program continues to advance the government's vision of a more connected, inclusive, and prosperous Papua New Guinea. Mr. Speaker, the roads and bridges are more than physical infrastructure. They connect farmers to markets, students to schools, patients to health care, services business to opportunities, and communities to a wider national economy. The investment being made today will continue to generate economic and social benefits for decades to come, provided they are properly managed and sustained, Mr. Speaker. The department remains committed to transparency, accountability, and excellence in service delivery. It will continue to work closely with government agencies, development partners, provincial governments, district authorities, the private sector, and the local communities to deliver safe, reliable, and sustainable transport and infrastructure throughout Papua New Guinea. Mr. Speaker, the progress outlined in this report demonstrates what can be achieved through clear policy direction, strong partnerships, and sustained investments in national infrastructure. While the challenges remain, the achievements to date provide confidence that the objectives of Connect PNG program can be realized for the benefit of all Papua New Guineans. Mr. Speaker, I hereby formally table the 2025 Annual Performance Report of the Department of Works and Highways for the information of this Honourable House. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for tabling the 2025 annual performance report and the statement that is made, I move that debate be made out of the day for another sitting, please. We take note of this and debate be made out of the day for another sitting, please.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I move that Parliament do now adjourn until 10 o'clock a.m. tomorrow.
The question is the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honourable members, Parliament now is adjourned to tomorrow 10 o'clock in the morning.